Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo. Tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Pooba, Senator, Pagoda, Grinder, and Bam Bam. Another full house of lizards. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some bourbon, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 63rd official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a New World cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We do a deep dive on this lancero. We discuss bourbon from Brooklyn. Bam finds himself in the lizard Crosshairs after finally setting up his tower, and then rises like a phoenix from the ashes, all among a variety of other things for the next 2 hours. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair 10-year aged Widow Jane bourbon with the My Father, number 4. A beautiful New World Lancero tonight from My Father, the number 4, a 38 ring gauge cigar by 7.5 inches long. We have not smoked many Lanceros on the pod. Actually, this may be the first Lancero we've ever done in, 60-something episodes.
It's a beautiful Vitola.
It's a beautiful cigar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's interesting about us doing this tonight is I certainly, given our experience with the judge, which was, I think, early 21, we did that cigar.
Yeah.
Given our experience with that, I certainly would never have brought this to the table. I don't think any of us would, had Rooster not completely fallen in love with this cigar.
Wow.
Take it easy.
You've been calling
It's okay.
You've been
It's
calling it a fundy.
I said it has some fundy notes, but
That's a pretty strong endorsement.
Although I wouldn't remember what a fundy
I'm
tastes
expecting.
like.
I'm expecting.
I don't have any.
I hope it doesn't rate 5 and below.
I mean, a fundy for crying out loud.
It has some fundy. To me, it had some like fundy notes.
Very high praise.
First time I tried it, like the first third, and as Senator, I think he had one, and we
Senator, are you corroborating this? A fundy?
So I would smoke this with like low expectations and see how you do.
Well,
Oh.
given your
So ignore
by the way,
ignore whatever I said.
Thank you
Just
for
smoke it for what
Thank
it
you
is.
for couching it for us.
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not. There's no hype. There's no rave. Just smoke it for what it is. And see what happens.
My point in saying that was not. It wasn't busting balls. Like we would not have done this probably, especially a Lancero in this from this maker.
Right.
Had you not bought quite a few of them, right? Did you buy 5 or 10 of them?
Yeah, I bought a 5. Then I bought another 5, and I just bought a box. So
Yeah. Well, that's
Wow.
an endorsement
That is an endorsement.
from a Rooster. That's an endorsement.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you guys like it.
I
Let's
hope
see.
so, too.
See how it goes.
Let's cut this thing, boys. Should we
It's,
get on the
it's a
cold
nice.
draw?
It's a nice looking cigar.
It is. I mean,
Beautiful.
you know what I love about it, actually, as we're cutting it? I love the kind of classic to the Cohiba number 1, the Lancero. It has a pigtail on it,
Yeah.
which is really nice to see from a New World manufacturer.
On the Cohiba.
On the Cohiba Lancero, they
yeah.
have the same.
Cohiba Lancero is like $80 a stick.
It's
I know
also incredibly. It's an
This
incredible
is under
cigar.
10.
Incredible cigar.
This is 8.
Yeah, this is like $10. I can't believe it. You know what else is interesting, too, is they come in boxes of 23.
This?
Yeah, weird
That's
number.
bizarre.
It's a weird number.
What are these made for Michael Jordan? I mean, Jesus.
Michael Jordan wouldn't be caught dead smoking this fucking cigar.
Where are these?
He's right.
Where were these stored at?
These came from Atlantic.
They're
Yeah.
pretty soft.
Yeah, they came about 4 days ago.
Mm.
I have high hopes. I guess we'll see how it goes, but
What are you getting?
How you
on
guys
there?
doing on the draw?
my draw's good.
Mine's a little tight.
Mine's like perfectly tight.
Yeah, slightly snug, but not in a bad way.
I always find with a Lancero, I've never had a Lancero that I put in my mouth and the draw is wide open. It's
That's
just
true.
never happened. I think these are very hard cigars to roll. I would assume that at the My Father factory that the top rollers are rolling this cigar because it's a lot of tobacco into such a small vitola.
Yeah.
You know, ring gauge wise. I mean, this is a 38. You know, so I would assume. What are you guys getting on the cold draw? Anything interesting?
A little raisin.
Mm-hmm.
Liga 9-esque on the
Yep.
cold draw.
Definitely
Yeah, like a
nine.
little earthy coffee.
I'm getting a sweetness too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dried fruit and raisin.
I have to say the cold draw is very pleasant.
It's very
I
nice.
could just draw it in this cold and I'd be satisfied. It's got some good
All right,
flavor notes.
Let's close it down, guys. Let's go home.
Oh, we're just getting started, Bam Bam.
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
buckle up.
That's until Senator's like, I'm getting a tar blast.
It's probably going to come. I often find with a Lancero, even well-rolled Lanceros, there's often a tar blast.
You've
I
not
have
had
to
this
think-
before, right?
Not had this.
I have to think that, to your point, Giz, that a lot of these Lanceros have a snug draw. I have to think that this is intentional because it's just not. There's no way I believe that no one can roll, a sort of wide open draw on a Lancero. I have to imagine that because these are smaller in ring gauge, that they don't want you to draw too aggressively on this and get this too hot, or it's going to totally muddle the flavors. So I kind of like that it forces you to slow down with something with a smaller ring gauge.
It's a good point.
This.
Yeah.
I often find too, and with any Lancero, I often find that if I make the head of the cigar too moist just by letting it sit in my mouth too long, I'm often feeling like I have to recut it or something
Sure.
to open it up because there's just not a lot of surface area there with the saliva versus a Robusto or a Toro or whatever it may be. So you really have to be deliberate when we smoke the cigar.
Yeah. You have to smoke it slow.
Yeah, have to.
It's going to get hot.
So, all right, boys, let's light this thing. The My Father, number 4 Lancero. Again, it's a 38 ring gauge by 7.5 inch cigar.
I'm hearing the flames.
Looks like my ST DuPont is dead for it, boys.
Uh-oh.
This is not good.
Shame on you.
No, I can't get it to click. Like it won't.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. I have to borrow somebody's lighter. Here. Thanks.
You didn't bring that Amazon one that Bam loves so
No,
much?
I have it, but I have to dig it out of my case.
I do love that one.
I like that. I like
Find
that.
your
I
warranty.
love that.
Find your warranty card.
I was told that I was out on that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to buy that. I actually, what's funny about, we're talking about the Amazon lighter I mentioned a few episodes ago. It's like 11 or 12 bucks. I had a few listeners send photos. Andrew, namely, sent some photos. Loves that the cigar lighter. Loves playing with the little switch on it. Soft flame.
What are you guys getting? This is delicious, I think, so far.
I'm excited. We talk about it all the time, boys. They do not make enough Lanceros.
No, they don't.
This is a call to the manufacturers. We celebrate Lanceros. We
Yeah.
celebrate Lonsdales.
Honestly, yeah, Lonsdales are fantastic.
It's like an earthy, spicy.
Oh, wow.
Don't. This is a little wild. I know it's crazy for me.
Little plum, maybe?
I'm getting a little asparagus.
Oh, boy.
Is it from my Wonder Order?
Maybe.
Grilled or steamed?
I think these are definitely steamed.
So a vegetal note.
I think you'll be smelling it later as well.
Wow. That is really, really good on the light.
I'll tell you, it's much smoother than I thought it would be.
If I was going to rate this right now, I would absolutely give this a 9 or a 10. At this moment, I'm impressed.
Wow, guys.
So
it's a strong
I'm
flavor.
trying not to say anything because Rooster's obviously had this several times. I had one that he gave me, and the most surprising part was just right on the light. The flavor notes that you get, how smooth. Bam said, I'm surprised how smooth it is.
Wow.
It gets off to a very impressive start.
What's incredible to me, and we've talked about this with other cigars that we've been disappointed with. It's incredible to me that the same people that make the Judge, with how we felt about that, make this cigar.
But do you know how many people love the Judge?
I know that.
It's such a huge
It's not for me.
cigar.
They make a great cigar, though. I mean, they make a lot of really good cigars that
Yeah.
people love.
Honestly,
Yeah, I know. People love them. It's just not for me.
I will also
This is
say,
really
though,
interesting.
at some point down the road, we should revisit that in a smaller Vitola.
Agreed.
We got that.
We
in
got a
some
monster.
giant ring
It was
gauge.
a monster.
It was way too wet right out of a retailer. We
Yeah.
should give that another shot at some point. I only say that because I smoked this that Rooster gave me and already this on the light. And I'm sitting here saying, okay, my father can make a good cigar. Like these are notes that we pursue in cigars.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm more willing to at least give them another shake.
Rooster, they make another cigar in their line that I happen to love, and I don't remember the name of it.
Bijou.
Yes, the Bijou.
La
Louis
Bijou.
Bijou. Yeah.
La Bijou.
It's actually in a smaller Vitola, fantastic cigar. Very nice.
That's too much for me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
too
That
strong.
stuff will
It is
knock
strong.
you
It's super
on
full.
your
They
ass.
have a mini, I don't know what you want to call it, mini Robusto. It's very small, very nice, surprisingly.
That's one of the only cigars I've ever smoked that I legitimately felt sick smoking. Like,
Really?
It's that
Like
intense.
nicotine?
Nicotine,
Wow.
100%.
Yeah.
It's
when
strong.
you
though.
smoked that in high school, I mean,
It's strong?
Like not
It
just
is.
nicotine, but flavor wise,
Pagoda has that for
strong.
breakfast.
It's so concentrated. It's just, I mean, we love full smokes, but that, honestly, for me, that's like a Liga on steroids, if you can even imagine that.
It is. It is.
For me, the strongest and most powerful smoke that I ever had was the La Flor Dominicana double chisel.
Oh, I've had that. It's powerful.
Is that the one? Can I ask you a
Very
question?
Holy Harrow.
And honestly,
is that the one that they patented the design?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it has some
It's
weird
a chisel.
That
It's like a axe, like the.
I will
like the-
say that
so
could be
stupid.
pod worthy. That cigar.
But
No,
imagine
I actually
saying
liked it. I remember. Meaning, I've had that a long time back. I think
It's powerful.
I think I preferred it to the Bijou.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It's much bigger than the Bijou, depending on the Vitola.
Imagine making a cigar and going, we have to do something that we can spend $20,000 getting a patent on. It's crazy. So the construction on this, boys, is a Habano Rosado wrapper, and then the binder and filler are all Nicaraguan, which is an interesting.
Well, you can taste the Nicaraguan tobacco. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a full cigar.
Oh yeah,
A lot of flavor.
but very smooth.
Yeah.
Extremely
really
smooth.
enjoyable.
Like honestly, this is one of the few Nicaraguan cigars that might fool me blind at first. Like it doesn't just smack you in the face like most Nicaraguans do. I could see myself trying this blind saying maybe it's Dominican. It's not as full as a lot of Nicaraguans. So I think there's some complexity in what they've done with this cigar, which I really like. And when you mentioned fundy notes, I mean, there's like this little sweetness you get on the finish here that kind of balances against the earthiness. Like it's just a nice song and dance.
And just naturally in the ring gauge, I mean, you're getting a lot of wrapper. So you're getting a lot of the Habano seed. Obviously, it's not grown in Cuba, but it's Habano seed grown elsewhere that it's clearly working pretty well.
Puba, what are you thinking about it?
Jury's out for me.
I knew it. I knew it.
I think
I was waiting for that.
the flavor's already kind of changing on me a little bit.
Yeah.
The jury's out. I'm confused, but we'll see.
What's confusing? I'm just curious.
Dum da dum dum.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide. Like, it didn't on the light. It was pleasurable. I'm just trying to discern if it's my thing or not. I just can't put my finger on it. Really, it's like it's a little spicy. It doesn't have like some of the creamy notes that I would be looking for, maybe for my palate. Maybe because I kind of lean towards Dominican tobacco and Cuban tobacco a little bit more than Nicaraguan, unless with the exception of Padron.
That's a pretty big exception.
Yeah.
We smoke a lot of Padron.
We do.
It is, but
Have you
Well-
retrohaled yet? Because on that,
yeah, it's spicy.
it's fantastic.
I
I find it very creamy on the retrohale.
It to me on the aroma of the cigar
Spicy.
coming off of the head and also the
It's
burn
good.
line.
I mean, it's
It kind of has like a doughy thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like fresh uncooked pizza dough or bread that's not cooked. It's a
it
little
has
doughy.
a pepper. It just has a peppery thing that's going on for me right now, which is okay.
I'm not getting any.
I'm
not
not
pepper.
getting
getting much
any pepper.
spice at all.
No.
At all on
Hey,
this.
Interesting.
listen, guys, I can only tell you what I don't know what to tell you, but
What did you eat before this? I'm a little
Yeah.
concerned.
nothing.
So-
I had like some wild rice. I mean, it was not like a
Yeah.
crazy meal.
Rooster, I'm not getting
Um,
any pepper here. I am getting a hint of baking spice, a little bit, and you get that typical tobacco note, but it's so far very pleasurable.
Yeah, I mean,
Surprising. I'm
get-
surprised.
I get like coffee and like
A little
earthy, like,
espresso.
tobacco.
Yeah.
The aroma coming off the foot has some spice. Like I get that.
I
you know,
don't
in
get
my
that.
nose.
I agree.
feel
no,
It gives you a little burn, a
I get-
little tingle in the
You know
nose.
what? I get a floral on the smoke. For me, if you take that here, just bring that in a little bit. A little
Yeah.
floral for me.
So
It's
we
funny
took,
you say
we
that.
took-
It's the wrapper because I was smelling the wrapper before we lit this cigar, and I got some floral notes on
It's
the wrapper.
awesome.
Hmm.
So far, awesome.
Like, it's starting to. It's actually it's changing a little. I'm getting a little more sweet notes here
Mhm.
from it now as it's picking up.
There you go.
So we'll just see. I'm
You-
just a little bit.
You know why I'm pushing? I guess I'm surprised by what you're
I
feeling.
mean, I would
because-
be honest. I mean, I'm
No,
not.
I'm
It's
not-
not
it's-
like I'm.
So I'm not
Yeah.
dismissing it. What I'm saying is
If-
what's interesting to me is I'm getting a lot of that baking spice that you often call out from like an H. Upman. I'm not saying it's H. Upman like. I'm saying that I am getting a lot of that kind of
A little bit.
ingredients that are in a baking situation.
Yeah,
A
sure.
a hint.
You
Sure,
know,
it's
Yep.
there.
It's really just a hint.
It's
of
a
bacon.
hint. It's
Yeah.
very doughy to me.
Yeah.
on the aroma.
It's like
pretty accurate.
when you pick up a cigar that you know nothing about, that you read about it, and you're like, okay, I'm going to try this cigar. And the first time I picked it up, I love the shape. I love the
Sure.
wrapper on this. I love
Sure.
the pigtail.
Yeah.
Very fundy-esque. Like the whole cigar is very fundy-esque. And then you light it. I'm like, oh my God, the notes are, they're very tasty, delicious smoke. And then you get
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised. Like you pick it up 9 out of 10 times, you're disappointed.
Yeah.
Well,
But this,
Well, here's what I'm going to
Maybe-
say.
and with a My Father, typically this is unusual.
This cigar has a lot of flavor, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. Not retrohaling it.
Mm.
When I retrohale this, I'm
and you're
not
a big, for the listener, you're a big retrohale guy.
yeah.
So am I.
So when I retrohale this, I am not getting an amplified version of what I'm getting in my palate. I'm actually getting like stale chlorine, like this empty kind
There's a
of
sharpness.
No.
yeah.
That's
It's not pleasant.
It's-
It's not. I wouldn't say it's not. It's not. I'm not uncomfortable with it, but it's just not like that's really different and not what I was expecting.
You certainly don't prefer it to the.
That's where the
the
asparagus
mouth.
comment came
I
in.
am-
but
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think because I retroheld the cigar and it's the bet at the light. And right after is a great time to do it before the cigar gets sometimes a little bit bolder down the stretch. And I was doing that, and I was getting that same thing that you expressed. It was a little bit sharp. It wasn't. I wasn't getting that kind of thing. So, but with Nicaraguan cigars, though, honestly, like sometimes that's what you got to do.
but
I mean,
you will notice that this cigar doesn't really build up in strength.
Mm.
It's kind of the opposite.
Are we-
I'm just curious. We'll see how it goes for
do
you
you,
guys.
so
but
are you
that's
saying that
kind
we
of-
should expect a one-act play as far as flavor as
Yeah, it
well?
will change a little bit,
I'll
but
tell
it'll
you.
actually kind of
If it stays like
back
this,
off a bit.
I'll be very happy if it stays like this.
And we have
Same.
to note this too, because this is very important for the listener who didn't go out and buy one. This is a $10 cigar.
Yeah, so the value is tremendous.
So if this keeps up even 75% of where it is right now
It's tremendous.
for $10, that is a really damn good value.
Do you know how sophisticated you look right now with that cigar in your
You
hand?
like that?
Doing
It's
that.
an awesome cigar.
That's
That's
the
my-
Bam
that's
Bam
the
move.
Bam
Oh, you
Bam
got to
move
do the
with the
Bam
hand.
Bam move.
Well, we always talk. This
I
is
like
a
that.
this is
You
a
like
very
that?
this is a very elegant
Here we
cigar in the
go.
hand.
Yeah.
Very elegant cigar in the hand.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When Rooster pulled this out, I mean, first he tells me this My Father Lancero, fundy notes. I mean, I'm sitting there shaking my head like, there's
Right.
just no way. He's either screwing with me or that it's just not possible. And when he took out the cigar, the first thing I noticed was just how beautiful the construction was. And I couldn't believe, I think you got these even under $10, found them somewhere.
Yeah.
The wrapper, invisible seams, the pigtail, like Rooster said, the draw is like you would expect on any top Lancero.
Yeah.
So I give them a lot of credit at a $10 price point. I mean, it looks like a much more
Dude,
expensive cigar
it's,
than it is.
it's smoothing out for me now.
Yeah.
It's-
And I'll be,
The
it's
construction
starting
is
to-
perfect.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It
and
is.
It is.
Senator,
White ash.
I'm not sure how often you retrohale, but on the retrohale, I'm getting the exact opposite experience that Puba and Grinder are getting. It is so pleasurable. I'm getting amplified baking spice and creaminess on the retrohale, on the
Nice.
retro.
So right now on Atlantic right now for a box of 23, these are going for $217.95.
Yeah.
And that's not VIP because I'm not logged in.
You know,
Yeah,
at
it's
the-
under 10.
Yeah, under $10 a stick. It's like
Crazy.
$9 a stick.
so far, that's a crazy deal.
I mean, think about it. You're going to pull out a Fundadores or a Cohiba Lancero for $80, $100,
Yeah.
or you could pull this out for 10. Are you telling me that has 10x the value of this? I don't know. I don't know because you could quite honestly throw this away right now. We're about 3/4 of an inch in, and you're still saving money.
You're
let
fine.
me ask this: when you have, if you get too hot on the burn, does the flavor profile change?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
any cigar, it starts to muddle the
You're
flavor
moving.
profile.
You're moving quite.
I think
quite a bit.
I'm burning it too fast.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I think
it.
that's
And what you're going to find too, if you keep doing
you
that,
see how it's,
you're gonna find the head of the cigar is going to bunch up, and you're
Yeah,
going to get a tar
It
blast.
looks like
Yeah.
kind of warped. Like
Yeah,
how
you're gonna
it's-
get
a tar
you get
blast.
It's like pulling a little bit.
It's a good thing for the listener to experience us experiencing that because you really have to smoke a small ring gauge cigar like this slow.
Yeah.
Keep it cool. Keep it as loose as you can, especially with saliva. because it will bite you if you don't.
Yep. And the faster you smoke it, the more curve you'll get in your ash.
So I guess if I have an issue, because all the commentary here has merit, right? The construction is really good and the flavor profile is good. I guess because you have to smoke this at a pace due to the tola, and you do have to smoke it at a certain pace. In a cigar this ring gauge, I want a longer finish and a little bit of a deeper thing that's going to hang around a little bit longer. And to me, the finish on this is for me a little bit short.
That is 100% accurate.
Is it abrupt or is it short?
It's short.
It's well, I don't know. I think those are synonymous, maybe.
Because short to me, like abrupt, it's like a hard stop. Like
it's short.
Okay.
He's not wrong.
It's short.
He's not wrong. The finish is short, but that for me doesn't make it a bad
in this
experience.
size though, between draws,
I don't get a bad
I want
experience
a little
from
bit
that.
longer of a finish.
Yeah, I don't know if
It's
I
not
agree with
it's
that.
not working
Yeah.
for me in that respect.
I think I have a slightly different take. I
That's
wouldn't
not a
say,
negative. Sorry, that's not a negative for me.
No, it's not. But
Yeah,
I
for
just my perspective on that. I would not say this has a long finish, but to me, it's got a medium finish. I like a cigar with a short finish. Like I could forget the next second what the flavor notes were because they're just gone. Like for me, this lingers a little bit. It doesn't linger for a very long time. To Puba's point, it's not like a super full cigar. But the funny thing is, like Rooster's comparison to a Fundy. I mean, I just smoked a Fundy the other day with Rooster. That
It's
doesn't
not
have a long
crazy.
finish either.
Yeah.
That has, I would say, a medium finish, like very similar to this. So I just think Lanceros, because of that smaller ring gauge, it's just like one, I don't think most smaller ring gauge cigars are made super full. Like most full, like really intense cigars are larger ring gauge, like a Robusto or bigger. So I think that like just naturally it kind of lends itself to being somewhere in the medium category. And I think also with the smaller ring gauge, like you're just drawing less smoke than you would a larger ring gauge. So it's kind of limited as far as like how long that finish really can be because you're just not getting the same smoke volume.
I guess, but you could also sure, and that's a fair enough argument.
Yeah.
But you could also, make the same argument around like an 898 or a cigar of that size,
Lonsdale.
a Lonsdale. Thank you. Like that's. I mean, yes, it's larger, but I've experienced some pretty long finishes on some
That's true.
Lonsdales. So I guess,
Yeah, what are those? 42, I think.
yeah.
And the VSG,
Yeah.
the VSG Illusione,
And the VSG,
that's got a nice long finish.
so it's got a nice. The VSG you got to kind of smoke a little bit slow.
Yeah, true.
I think all this commentary has merit.
Yeah.
I just. It's a $10 smoke.
That's
It is.
exactly it.
And like
I also think the
and-
maker, the My Father brand could be skewing some of the opinion in the room, possibly.
I think
Possibly.
I got to say, I think we're being incredibly positive about the cigar.
Oh, it's
right
very
now.
positive, but I think I don't know.
No.
It's a My Father.
I just
brand.
think
we're not.
this
big
was
fans
blind,
Of
I'd say the same
We're-
thing.
yeah,
I'm not-
we're not
I'm
big
not-
fans of this cigar maker. We're just not.
I'm not.
Yeah, but
I'm
we
not as
but
worried
people
about
weren't.
that.
But hold on. Let me just say one thing. Sorry, I'm sorry, Senator.
No.
Let me just say one thing. There are people in this room who were none of which were Ashton fans. The minute they smoked that Aston VSG turned.
We have boxes of it
If
now.
this thing was,
True.
there's no I have zero motivation to say to judge this cigar because it's a My Father. Zero.
Totally.
It's a Lancero that I'd love to put in my. If
Yeah.
you presented me this cigar and I was like, I love this. I love it. This is great. What's my motive? I would have no shame in pulling out any
course.
cigar that I like.
I don't.
course.
I don't
That's
doubt
true.
You know
that
what
at
I'm
all.
saying?
I have
Agreed.
no concern.
I
about
agree.
This is
being
not a
skewed.
vanity situation.
No, no, I agree.
My
all.
thing is, I want to go back to something Puba says. This I feel like a lot of the time we're reviewing his stick. He says, for what it is or what it intends to be.
Yeah.
And I just keep coming back to like I thought Rooster was out of his mind when he mentioned the word Fundy and this stick.
Me too.
But I'm telling you,
Dude.
if you smoke a Fundadoris and then this, it's trying to deliver a similar experience to that, which is dramatically different than an 898. It's not nearly as full flavored as that. It's not like a VSG New World. That is like a medium,
Yeah.
smooth, creamy, relatively complex with some interesting flavor notes. So like I just keep like the benchmark for this is like what a Fundy's designed to be, which is not a full smoke.
No.
And I think that this shockingly so far
brother.
performs really well in that category. in that
He's
class.
right. He's fucking right. Because I'm
Well,
getting it now.
Here's my thing with this cigar.
I don't know.
I'm finding this experience to be incredibly elegant. For a $10 cigar,
That's crazy.
I would be proud to hand this to anyone. At $10, I would be proud to hand this as it's smoking right now to anyone. Because not only from a value standpoint is it a home run as of right this moment, but it's also really great in the hand. It's an interesting size. Handing this, people aren't going to expect this. And I would argue that almost anyone who's got even a very decent amount of experience smoking cigars would be able to really appreciate this cigar.
100% agreed.
Whether they like full cigars, whether they like mild cigars, I think this is really kind of covering the bases. Plus, it's elegant. Plus, it's cheap.
And I will say, the bourbon that we're having with this right now really is quite nice.
Well, it does stand up to it. I'm not. That's true.
Agreed.
Can I just quickly, before we get to the bourbon,
Sure.
is anyone else getting like a saltiness on the finish?
A little bit.
Like that's what gives me, when Rooster says this whole fundy thing, like you get this
Like front of the
little, you get on the
Yeah.
finish this
Yeah, yeah.
saltiness that reminds you of a Cuban. Like that.
Now-
that's
Yeah.
like the one part
Hold
of this.
on.
I'm like,
maybe
that's
Also,
bizarre.
also, when you smoke this cigar, keep it like closer to your face, to your mouth. The aroma
It's
that's
good.
coming
It's
off
good.
The
Big.
aroma's amazing.
in between your puffs. I mean, it's
good.
So
It's
yeah.
good. It's good. Now, you two had fundies recently. So I haven't had one in a very long time.
Sure.
And so I'm
You got to go back to it.
well, yeah, I got to go back to it. I'm taking a lot of merit from your comments.
All right, so let's talk about the bourbon, the Widow
Yeah.
Jane 10-year aged,
American
made
oak.
in Brooklyn, New York, which is
Yes.
very cool.
Yep.
I've actually never had Widow Jane.
I have to say this is one of my favorite bourbons.
Why is it called Widow Jane?
I don't know. We need the sommeliers in the room.
Why
to
do you ask questions that we can't answer?
Well, whoever brought it should have done some research.
Honestly, it was impromptu.
Now I've heard about it. A lot of people talk about this.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
It's quite good, and it really holds up to this guy here.
91 rated bourbon I saw.
Yeah.
okay,
Um,
I've got the name.
All right, hit it.
Origin. The name comes from the Widow Jane mine in Rosendale, New York. The distillery comes out of Red Hook, Brooklyn. All Widow Jane products are distilled and proofed with water from the limestone caves of the Widow Jane mine.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Cool.
I love that it's made in Brooklyn. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So I have an office in Brooklyn, so it's not far from where my office is, and I've wanted to do a tour in this facility. You can do a tour anytime. I hear.
Really?
Yeah, anytime. I hear.
You could just show up.
You can just show up.
You know, there's a bourbon. I don't know if I can't categorize it as a boom because I don't know enough about it. But there's a lot of bourbon distillers or whiskey distillers in upstate New York, and they do a pretty good job. I picked up some. I have to Google the name from a boutique distiller up there, but they do up in the Hudson Valley, up there in that area of New York State. There's some really nice distillers up there that are doing small batch whiskey.
That's
and
cool.
and it's really nice.
Very cool.
Have you ever been out to Kings County?
I have not
That's a good one.
I
to
hear
visit.
heard of it.
This is really delicious bourbon.
Quite good.
And I think it's pairing beautifully with the cigar.
Agreed.
Yeah, and just an
What's the
update.
proof on it? Sorry to interrupt, Puba.
That's a good question. You know, I've got old eyes. I'm going to hand it over to Grinder.
He doesn't
45 and a half.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
Puba, sorry, go ahead.
So an update here. So I so now I'm a little bit down. I've done a few retro hills here, and it's much smoother,
Yeah.
and it's much more creamy than it started off for me.
Yes, sir.
Same.
Yes, sir.
So the
It's-
first third has like a lot of like strength, and then it kind of mellows off.
It's interesting.
After the
You would
first
think the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So maybe some of the oils in the wrapper, maybe something that it's like kind of developing. Right now, this is the best it's smoked for me because I'm down maybe
What,
I don't
inch
know,
and a half, maybe?
inch and a half, 2
Yeah.
inches or something.
Yeah.
And this is the most enjoyable part of the cigar for me so far.
It's really quite nice.
So it's better. It's actually changed.
Which is great because, I mean, honestly, if we think of most $10 sticks that we've smoked, we're usually saying the opposite. We're like, oh, this starts out great. And
Yeah.
as you keep going, it gets worse and worse and worse. So it's nice that this actually delivers something better or
Yeah.
more as you smoke it.
And for $10 so far, it's just incredible.
And it really lends again to going back and revisiting brands that disappointed us. This is the second time now we did the EP Carrillo, the Pledge prequel, which was the cigar of the year in 21, and it really disappointed us. And then we came back, kind of in jest, smoking the El Senador that Senator brought because of his namesake,
Spectacular.
and it was excellent.
Excellent.
So this is another example of going back to a manufacturer that it didn't knock it out of the park for us, and it's really doing something different for us.
Just the way the Cuban prices are.
Yeah, I mean,
once you find like an under $10 steak, a New World steak, I think it's great.
It's great. Yeah. Great recommend, Rooster, so far.
And the other thing too that I would expect from my father that I'm not going to expect from Cuba is I'm going to expect that every one of these cigars I pick up is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be well constructed, and it's going to deliver.
Yeah.
And don't forget, these families are from Cuba.
Yeah,
that's true.
So they have that culture.
Yeah. True.
Well, yeah, and the estate. There's a lot of tobacco grown, by these guys. There's a lot of different brands that cultivate tobacco out of here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm not sure if they grow it in Esteli or like what part of Nicaragua.
Not sure, but
I think they have a factory in Esteli.
Yeah, it's Esteli. Yeah, it's there.
Pagoda, what are you thinking about this? Haven't heard from you.
For me, this is the second time I've had it. I think Rooster had given it to me.
So you've
the
had
first
this
time.
already.
Yeah, and for me, I thought it was very Cubanesque from the very beginning because I think in terms of just getting certain flavors out of it, I get a bit of earthiness and saltiness from the very beginning throughout. So I, like Senator mentioned, I get that saltiness throughout, which I really enjoy. I also think there's a bit of floral in there with the baking spice. For me, it was very Cubanesque, and I really wish we had done this without the label or the blind one, because this could have been one of those interesting ones where it's a beautiful cigar, and at the same time it delivers flavors which are somewhat mildish from my perspective, but overall very enjoyable.
I think that's it's a nice observation, because it does have some of that floral notes to it. It's a very astute, and now that I'm connecting the dots here between what everybody likes, right? So like if one of Rooster's favorite cigars is the MD04, and it's so floral, and that's some people's jam, that's not some people's jam, right? So I like that. Do I love floral like as much as Rooster loves floral? No. Do I like a dessert more? Yeah. So I can see now how this cigar could resonate with you. You know what I mean? Because you're picking that out, and that's true. It does have some of that floral to it.
I think it has both. That's what's crazy about it.
It does.
I got a lot of cocoa on this.
Yeah.
It's very dessert-like.
I love.
You're not wrong.
I love this conversation. Great conversation.
You're not wrong. Yeah. It's the finish for me is a little bit, but I guess for a $10 cigar, you got to set your expectations appropriately.
Even if it wasn't a $10 cigar, I think it has value.
I agree.
Even beyond $10.
If this were more than $10,
if it was $20, I would feel the
impressed.
same.
Yeah, and so far, I would buy a box of these. At the moment, I would definitely go after.
Yeah,
this.
going back to Puba's point about the LGCs being floral.
Yeah,
the floral notes dominate on the LGC MDO number 4, right? The MDO number 2 has some floral
fruit.
and some spice and some other stuff.
I get fruit on number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
But this has more.
Honestly,
it's floral and other
I'm
notes
getting
florals in the background.
Yeah, you're getting floral in the background. I am getting baking spice and cocoa. It's very accurate, Senator.
So I'm just looking. I was curious because I had seen that it got a few ratings from Cigar Aficionado, and most recently in the August 22 issue, it got a 94.
Oh wow!
But even at a 94, which is a pretty damn high score, it did not place in the top 25 of the year when they resmoked.
That's a crime.
Which I find
it's a crime.
Very odd.
Yeah.
So the one from my father that did make it.
Yeah, but how many Lanceros have we smoked out of the top?
I think
25?
the judge made it, right?
No, Le Bijou.
Le
The Le
Bijou?
Bijou Churchill was number 7 this year.
Churchill. Can you imagine
Wow.
smoking that thing in
No.
Churchill? That's a death sentence.
It truly is.
Which one? What,
You've-
I'm,
The Le
I'm
Bijou.
not
the
tracking.
My
Dude.
father,
Le
Le Bijou.
Bijou.
The Le
It's
Bijou.
the fullest cigar I've ever
Yeah,
smoked.
it's insane. You have
Will
to get
knock
it.
you on your
I
ass.
kind of want
Well, I'm
to.
not
I want to
interested.
do it.
It's good. It's good.
He goes, I'm not interested.
No. You have to try it in the smaller Vitola. It's really, really good.
So we should do that.
Petite
Just
Robusto,
as
if they have that.
just to see the some of the reactions and consensus. It is such a strong.
We have to have a
cigar.
massive like sirloin,
Yeah.
fatty steak dinner before we do that.
Puba may pass out in the room.
Yeah. But it got better. It
It's
got
good.
notably better.
I'm really enjoying the pairing tonight. Again,
Crazy.
kind of by accident, but
It's delicious.
hitting it out of the park, the two of them. The bourbon is really complementing the flavor of the cigar.
It is. I'm
It-
not going to
it
gush
truly
like you're
is.
gushing.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
not going to
gushing.
gush.
All right, I'll calm down.
But it is, and I would love to be gushing. I'm not going to gush, but it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely good, and it's definitely getting better. It's getting way better than it started for me.
So we mentioned when we came on, you guys were feeling that the cigar might have been a little soft. Are you guys experiencing anything different from when you smoked it in the past? I
Nope.
find it smoking brilliantly.
I think
No,
it's
no
perfect.
ammonia. Not what you
Really?
would usually get in a heavily humidified cigar. I'm not getting any of that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's soft actually as you smoke it. I think maybe just the nature of the size. Maybe it's just a little more supple.
Yeah.
Because it's there's not as much tobacco in there for the firmness. There's fewer veins to hold it in place and provide structure.
I definitely think we'll see how it comes down to the end here, but as of right now, I'm really impressed with this.
I'm anticipating a great finish.
I like
Yeah.
it. I'm not. I'll use the
I-
word
it's
gush.
a-
I'm not
it's
going
a-
to gush over it at all.
It's a little boring. I mean, not boring.
Here's my thing with it.
So
is
you think
that
it's boring?
It's a little.
I think for what
it's
it is,
lacking.
Disagree.
I think for the size, I
It's
think
exciting for
what
me.
you're feeling is boring. I kind of put in the elegance category.
Agreed.
Anytime I have a cigar that is designed to be smooth and medium and elegant, it's never going to beat you up even like a Lonsdale, like an 898. That cigar is full. It's an experience. It's a roller coaster ride. It's a wow. This, comparing it to Cubans, the Cohiba #1, the Lancero, the Fundy, they do not kick you around.
It's just interesting because, right, and I appreciate what you're saying, but Senator and I on this podcast, for the record,
For the record?
for the Lizard record,
The ledger.
very, very, very rarely disagree.
It's true.
I'm
we
enjoying
almost
this.
we almost never ever disagree
It's true.
on almost any cigar.
Is
Ever.
that- not sure if that's a good thing, but
maybe
okay.
the new
No,
worlds.
I'm
Maybe the
just-
new worlds.
Bam, it's what you should aspire to. It's a great thing.
No. Am I wrong? Though? I mean, we
no, he's
very
not wrong.
rarely
I wholeheartedly
disagree. No, but
disagree.
how many times on this podcast do I say to you, I agree 100%, and you look at me and say, I just want to pick up on that. I agree 100%. So
Well, but
it's
you're
a
both,
little
you're both
polar-
scared of each other.
No, it's not true.
You guys are just lockstep.
No, I'm just
Usually.
saying this is interesting.
It is.
Because we're not like in lockstep, and
what-
then we usually are
Here's
more in lockstep. I'm just
I'll
saying.
tell you what I find-
genuinely think that if Puba smoked a Fundy yesterday and then smoked this,
Yeah.
you'd have a different perspective.
Like you did.
I
Sid.
Does anybody have a
really
fundy
do.
on
I
deck
really
that
do
we can
think.
give?
I just say that
So
because
just give me a fundy.
I
and
do.
let me light it up, man.
I actually hold on.
Well,
I do have a
someone,
fundy.
Someone has a couple boxes of Fundies.
Well,
All right,
I
hold on.
have-
Before we go to that,
I
Can't
have
wait
a
to
fundy.
get to that.
Before we go to that. So, Puba, the one thing I want to say to you that's surprising to me is you're usually a guy that's chasing elegant, medium, smooth sticks. So what I'm finding interesting about your feeling about this cigar is if you weren't here, let's say you're not here, I would be thinking, wow, I really think Puba would love this cigar. So that's surprising to me that something isn't delivering to the degree that I certainly thought it would
Well,
so
Can I-
far through this cigar.
can
Yeah,
I make
I-
a quick comment, if I may?
Okay.
He's spot on as far as the finish is concerned. The finish is short, but for me, that doesn't make it a poor cigar. I just go for more because I love the front of this cigar. It's just
Yeah,
fantastic.
to me, it's
Sorry.
not that short.
The finish is medium.
Yeah, I agree.
wholeheartedly
Medium
disagree.
short, that's
It's
fine.
not short.
Medium,
Wholeheartedly
medium
disagree.
finish, fine. fine.
It is, and I'll concede to that. It is medium, but maybe it's the finish that I'm not crazy about.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is too. But again, I'm not. Let me temper my commentary a little. I'm not saying that. I'm not gushing over it. I'm not like, wow, this is like a whole new discovery for me. This is really something that I'm going to reach for at this point. That's all. I'm not saying but it's like, it's not like I'm not enjoying it, but there's something that's not hitting the mark for me. And that's it.
And that's when you have a sip of bourbon.
Yeah.
Hit the Widow Jane.
Dude,
Which is really working.
Just sitting in this room, which is not very big, with none of the ventilation going on. I mean, I'm just loving this.
It's a great
The
experience.
aroma and everything
aroma.
else about it.
And listen, we're all let's just do one more quick math equation because I find this fascinating. All 7 of us, we have a full house tonight. We're all sitting here smoking these cigars for the price that's less total. 7 of us total, less than 1 Fundadores right now from Cuba, brand new out of the box,
bro.
Or 1 Cohiba Lancero.
Yeah.
By quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. And honestly,
and then you might have draw issues on that.
Exactly.
But what's interesting is the quality of the conversation over this Vitola and this maker is tremendous.
It's surprising.
There's a reason for that because, it's a good cigar.
But I just retrohaled it. It's good. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on this thing.
No, I'm not taking it as shitting. What I'm taking it as is just, I am just slightly surprised at your take on it right now. Cause to me, this cigar screams Puba to me, but that's, so be it.
I want to go back to Pagoda's point. If we had handed this cigar without the bands to each and every one of you,
I was just going to say,
what would you guys say?
Yeah.
So
just
I
think
could
that
give a
Puba's
fuck.
not happy about this, but
No,
you're
it's
hold on.
okay.
Grinder
Everybody
wants
has
to-
their
like,
own
Grinder-
opinion.
I've been taking
That's-
notes because
that's fine.
I've have this been listening. A couple things. The taste is great. Very good taste. It tastes very familiar to me, and I'll come back to that. I don't get a lot of salt. I do get a pinch of table salt on the end,
Front of your tongue?
on the front of my tongue,
Yeah,
but it's
same.
not like a fresh, flaky sea salt that you
Yes.
get from a Cuban.
Yes.
It's just very subtle. I do think the expectations and the discussion and the chatter that we had coming into this may have clouded it a little bit because to me, it's not speaking to Fundadores, but I don't smoke a lot of Fundadores. We'll have to do that
Yeah, we'll do
taste
that another
test.
fun.
And the thing is, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. There's good spice. It is smooth, and I love smoking a Lonsdale. By nature of this being a Lonsdale, it's already going to be a great.
Lancero.
Sorry, by nature of being a Lancero or a Lonsdale, this is already high marks in my book.
Yeah.
However, I don't think this is very unique. The taste I'm getting it tastes a lot like other cigars that I've had and have enjoyed, but it's just not unique to me. But it's a flavor that I'm familiar with and I really, really enjoy. So it's not a knock. It's just
my question
my
is,
exuberance is not as.
My question is, what would you compare this to? Given that
That's what I've been struggling. I'm like, because I knew that was the question.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
like,
That's the first follow up.
Yeah, what's the and I'm
Because
just
like what I
don't
want to
know.
do is I
can't-
want to smoke. If you name some comparisons, I want to try them.
I know, but what I'm saying is I can't pinpoint it.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
would
kind
like
of
to
got
know-
it's got little bits and bobs of a lot of cigars that I've had before, but that's irrelevant because every cigar is like
What?
Yeah,
So,
but
like,
you know,
hold on.
Which I
What
think is a
about-
testament to it. Just
Yeah,
that there's
I agree.
actually that many notes that it brings a little of
Yeah.
a number of things.
And it doesn't scream New World
Like,
to me directly.
That's the
Hold
thing.
on. Let Senator finish what he's saying.
I'm just saying, like, for me, the biggest surprise about this cigar is that there's any complexity whatsoever. My expectation going in, candidly, with most New Worlds, is that they're going to be very, very straightforward.
Right.
I'm going to get
Monotone, yeah.
one dominant note, maybe a second note, and the great New Worlds have a third or a fourth note to it. I was shocked to light this up and get, cocoa, baking spice, floral notes, creaminess about. I mean, I could keep going. Like,
Dude.
it's stunning that I would be able to say that. So I'm not coming from this as like this is one of the greatest cigars of all time. That's not my take on this cigar. But what I do give this a lot of credit for is I would call this a complex cigar, and I don't know many $10 sticks that I would ever
Dude,
I'd
and
say
it's
that about.
and it's everything he's describing is very Cuban-esque. That's a Cuban cigar that he's describing, more
Look,
or less.
There is at this current
For a $10 My Father cigar.
at this current moment in the Habanos portfolio, there is not a single cigar that you can touch for under $10 that will deliver you this
And I'll-
flavor profile.
and
Or
I'll-
this,
or this
by the way,
much.
we're 40
you know.
40 something minutes into the podcast. Whatever $10 cigar you get from Habanos would have been done 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and we've
mean-
never discussed the $10 cigar to this level. It's amazing.
I mean, we have smoked some $40 Cuban sticks that we have kind of like, rated.
put
like,
down.
you know,
yeah, and
you
Rooster
put
said something really interesting. Because of the cost of Cuban cigars, I would have this and preserve my Cuban stock. Totally worthwhile.
Yeah, like to Rooster's point, I mean, I can't get fundies all the time, right? Like they're very hard to come
I
by.
can't get any.
We're going to talk about why that is.
You got some coming to you later.
I wonder. I don't think my father makes many medium light body cigars, right?
Not at all.
No.
So I wonder,
This is very intentional.
making their blend and their tobacco leaf that they grow on their farms and they use. Maybe this is their way of saying, okay, let's tone it down a bit and let's do something a little different.
Yeah.
And put it in this size, bundle it a little differently, and it's going to smoke more elegantly. Because those cigars are like that portfolio is just it's a lot.
It's full.
There's a lot of
aggressive.
Ligero in there. Like every one of their Vitolas, every one of their different, their different blends. No, I can't, some listeners probably going to correct me on this, but maybe it's, it's a way for them to package what they have in a different way.
We've talked on the podcast. I know I've said it about intentional blending and really doing something specific to the Vitola or for a specific target part of their audience. I think that this was a very intentional blend to reach someone who likes an elegant hour and a half small ring gauge experience. And to me, it's speaking to me right now for $10. It's really working.
What's really interesting is that if you think of the binder and the filler, the Nicaraguan, Esteli Nicaraguan, and we've had a lot of Nicaraguan cigars, and they give a completely different experience.
Yeah.
So,
Forgive me, is this a Puro? It's not a Puro.
No,
Okay.
because they're wrappers.
the
right.
Rapper's Habano.
Got it.
And this is not the only Lancero they make.
What?
They make
really?
they
They
make,
make
one
others?
other, right?
Yeah.
Or
Don't
two
tell-
others.
They make the
One
Le
or
Bi-
two
I think it's one
Do
or
they
two
make
others.
the Le Bijou?
I don't
Lancero?
think it's the La Bijou, but
Please,
it's
no.
something else.
The Habano wrapper is probably one of my favorite wrappers. Habano and what's the red one?
Rosado?
Rosado.
Like a nice rosado. Just so it's
Isn't
so
this
appealing.
a Rosado?
I think it is a Habano Rosado, but the Rosado just designates the color.
Okay, yeah, it's not
Um,
official.
Yeah, it's not like a-
like a deep reddish brown.
It's not like
wrapper is
it's not like a specific leaf though, right?
This is a
Or is
so
it just how it?
Atlantic.
mash.
I'm seeing different things. Atlantic is saying that this is an Ecuadorian Habano Criollo, and then
Criollo.
Criollo.
no, not Criollo. There's not a J. It's two L's.
Criollo.
And then JR is saying that it's a Habano Rosado on the same cigar. So I'm not sure what the truth there is.
Maybe it's a Habano Rosado.
I love the
Criollo.
Ecuadorian Oscurio wrappers. Oscurio.
Escurio. Yeah.
So speaking of truth, we as the Lizards,
Why are you looking at me?
we were, to put it lightly, we were tricked.
You are
flabbergasted.
Misled.
Giz, you are disavowed.
There's only one word to describe it.
I wasn't.
Bamboozled
bamboozled.
all of us. Bamboozled all of us.
We were bamboozled.
And how did I do that?
Okay, so let's go back.
Look at my
listener,
face. I'm starting to get scared.
to the
What are
listeners.
we talking about?
Stand by, Bam Bam.
I'm moving my mic.
To the listeners who didn't get a
Pipe
chance
down.
to listen to last week's episode, we did, as Grinder so eloquently called it, the Bam Bam Accountability Hour, where we really torched Bam on his 9-month escapade to move his tower 25 feet from his garage to inside his house.
It took 7 months to get to my house, by the
And
way.
then, okay. And I thought you moved your mic. And then not only season it, but also fill it with his cigars. So we did the Bam Bam Accountability Hour. We really rallied together. It was an intervention, really. I mean, would anybody disagree? And Bam Bam delivered.
Yes.
I'll be
But
honest.
Bam Bam delivered
Well, hold on.
He
Put it this way, folks.
over-delivered.
Over-delivered and delivered things that we had no idea he was capable of delivering when he sent a picture of his absolutely jam-packed
Yeah, but
full tower.
You have to go back,
But
a
it's
step,
not-
just a step back.
hold on.
When
You
he's,
hold on.
When he's,
I am not a
you're not
connoisseur
allowed
like
to
the
talk
connoisseur
yet. You're not
corner.
allowed to talk yet. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I'm going to cut your mic. You always say to cut mics. I'm cutting yours.
All right,
move
you
mine.
have to go back to the picture that he sent. It was 6 gallons of distilled water in the back seat.
By the way, he needed a quart.
I
ready
know.
to
I know.
douse that tower down like he's gonna soak those fucking shelves
I
in the
did.
distilled water.
And I did do that. I
All
did.
right,
You should not do that.
I know.
you don't need 6.
It was like he needs a quart.
You're gonna warp the wood.
So,
So-
I did have the tower in my basement a long time ago. I seasoned it and I just forgot about it. I admit
How did you
that.
forget about it? We're busting your balls
No,
about it. Every
I just
week.
didn't. I didn't
Every
bother.
week.
You
We
know,
talked about it
I've
10
got
times.
these huge Tupperdoors full of boxes of cigars, and I had the tower there, and I was like, you know what, I'm good for now.
So
So, I just went on.
So for the listener out
Puba,
there,
I moved on with my life.
I wish I could pull clips and play it for how many times our friend Bam Bam. And what hurts the most about this is to be misled is one thing, but to be misled by one of our own,
Misled?
it really
Oh,
hurts.
yeah.
I want to know how I misled
Oh
you.
yeah.
When you how many times on the podcast, my friend, have you said, you know, you guys have way more than
You
I
do have more than I do.
that's a lie.
Really?
That's not-
That's a categorical lie.
I don't believe you.
Well, we got a picture,
Now,
listeners.
How many? Hold on. How many 50 cabs of Lucy do you have?
I've never denied it though.
You have
Guess
450
Bam,
Lucys.
Bam. Guess how many
I
I
have
have.
one.
And guess how many I have? One.
I
But
have
you
one.
make it sound like
There you go.
I and we all have so much more than you.
How many sharks do you have?
How many boxes?
1.75 boxes.
Yes.
That's more than I have.
I have
more than I have.
0.5.
I'm happy to share.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, now we hear those words. I'm happy to share.
I
He's
am
got
happy to
like
share.
Coronas Claros in there.
He's got everything. So
Everything
listen,
you
to
could
just
imagine.
to really
He's got
build
4
on what
boxes of D4s.
to just expound
3
on what Gizmo
PSP boxes.
All right, hold on. I want
to
to
expound on what Gizmo was saying there.
You'll get your opportunity to defend.
The point is, Bam,
Tomorrow.
for years now we have heard
Years?
years. I've known you for years. For years, we have heard, I don't have as many 6 as you guys have. You guys have these big full towers.
you guys know
I just
more
have,
than I
you know,
do.
desktop humidors and a Tupperware. I don't have the same collection you guys do, all this
Don't.
stuff. And so we're very nice and we've been very charitable and we give you a lot of these sticks thinking that you don't have them. All of a sudden, you send a photograph of your full to the brim tower saying, I have more I can't even fit in the tower. I'm now filling desktop humidors with my excess and I'm probably going to need Tupperware. And let me just recount a little of what's in the photo.
Okay.
In the photo, there is a box of Partagas E2, QD54, Partagas Maduro 1, Monty 2,
Fuck
Bellicoso
You have the
Spinos,
photo open
Punch-
now?
I do too.
You
I'm
gave us
pulling it up, too.
your
Oh, I gave you
running
the
log.
inventory.
I'm reading your inventory. Punch, 3 boxes of D4s, Partagas P2, Boulevard Royal Corona, Boulevard Petite Corona, Juan Lopez number 1.
By the way,
A 50, let me finish. A 50 cab of Partagas shorts, Upman half Corona,
Yeah.
Upman Anahado, H. Upman Connoisseur A, H. Upman Mag 46. What? Short to Punch, Mag 54, Upman number 2, 3 boxes
Yeah,
of
but this
Upman
is-
number 2.
but this is not anything
Monte
that...
Cristo
Come on.
Edmundo, Trinidad Colonialis, 2 fucking boxes of Trinidad Fundadores, Monte Linnea.
Fuck off!
Yeah, but you have that, and so do you.
He has more than a box of LGC number 4, 1.25
Yeah,
boxes
but I have
on his
no.
thing.
Come on.
He has Vegas.
No,
Urbana-
no, come on.
No.
Thank you.
That's all courtesy of
Thank
Rooster.
you.
It's courtesy
Thank
of Rooster.
you.
Now, I can
Here's
I just
the
say,
setup,
And hold
though.
on.
Hold on, you'll get your opportunity.
The best for last. He has a 50 cab of Lucy's.
yes. Now,
Bam, this is Bam.
This is wait a minute. This is just the front row.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
This
don't
is
know
only
what's-
what we
I don't-
see.
We don't know what's behind it.
Can't find it.
some of that stuff is Tetris-like in there, you know.
So here's
I have to say something. I've been inspired by all of you.
Oh,
no,
here we
it's
go.
true. Look.
Don't
Clearly.
humble yourself.
I
Ben.
don't have Schwa Supreme. That's a cigar that I love.
Oh my God.
I need to get that
Oh
cigar.
my God.
Oh,
I'll give you my Schwa Supreme
don't-
if you'll give me your fundies, Bam. Like
You
if you
got
want
it.
that. Like
I
that.
don't
Got your schwa right here, baby.
I have no 898 Partagas. I have
All right,
none.
hold on. All right,
poor
hold on.
you.
Primo.
Okay.
Poor you.
Listen, we could go through the whole catalog. Here's my point. Okay. My point is you have portrayed yourself as a man who's been left out of groups, as a man who's
Early
been-
on. Early,
you still do
early.
it.
No. Well, I like
As
the
a man who
you know what?
You still do it.
I like the cathartic nature of it. Okay.
Yeah, this is very
I do.
cathartic for
I
me.
do. It is
very.
cathartic.
I'm feeling very.
I
cathartic
enjoy
right now.
the cathartic nature of it.
This is very cathartic. So you have put yourself out as a guy who doesn't know how to source, doesn't have the resources, doesn't have the time, doesn't have the energy. Certainly, I've never been offered boxes from Bam Bam. I don't know if any
I'm
of
gonna
you
offer
have.
you.
No.
I don't know if any
with
of you
your
have.
catalog that you have. I'm going to offer you.
Yeah, but
To me, I look at all of you.
Bam,
honestly,
you have as many
Hold on.
sticks as I do.
I don't know
yes,
about that.
That is true.
That's a fact.
No, I
Bam, we both have the same tower, and both of them are full. We
I
have the
look
same
at,
sticks.
I do look at all of you as operating at a higher level in sourcing and in the selection of the cigars that you have, and I'm trying to aspire to that.
Yeah.
I
So
really
are
am.
these like all
honestly.
20 boxes?
No.
No.
I have some.
21
I do
bucks?
have
No.
some age stuff. Like I've got 24. My oldest cigar is the LGC 4s and 2s.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Obviously.
But that's all courtesy of Rooster.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got 2014 Upmans, and that's the oldest cigar.
I
that-
know
I
that.
do not have 2014
I don't
Upmans.
have any.
Gizmo, do you?
I
don't
only
have
have.
I do.
I've got that jar.
I don't.
You do.
Oh, the Noellas.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I have
Noellas.
a jar of those.
A jar of
I
those.
thought you meant the
So
other two.
here-
Those are incredible.
To Bam's defense,
Well, thank you
couple-
for sharing those. I've never tried one.
I know, and I want to bring you one.
I've asked you for them.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. You sent a photo of that jar.
I am
I said,
gonna-
well, I would
hold
like
on.
to try one of those. And
That
Bam,
is-
like, huh?
that cigar-
Sure.
I have only been asking for fundies for the last 6 months.
I have a few for you. Right. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, Grinder, go ahead.
All right. In Bam's defense, couple things. One,
For the listener.
couple
I am-
things.
I am,
Grinder.
I
Let him
am
defend
pulling
you.
out
Grinder.
for the listeners.
Couple things.
Grinder.
Let me just say.
Let
couple
Grinder
things.
be his defense attorney. He needs it. believe me.
One thing. At least one
I
thing.
said 5.
So
Not gonna happen.
Fiver.
Not
can,
happening.
can
We
we
have
all?
a box and a half. All right.
Go ahead.
I mean, I felt so bad for you. I gave you like a selection of sticks for your birthday because I
dude.
actually, that was beyond what
I
I'd
was-
give anyone else because I
Bro,
felt
I was blown
I
away.
felt
by that.
bad
anything.
because I felt
No,
like you
but
didn't have anything.
I was
So I was
when
trying.
when you gave me that sampler, dude, it was off the charts. Puba's sampler that he gave me.
Give it back.
Because I
no,
felt bad.
no.
No, but I actually did it. My motivation, I was like, Bam Bam doesn't have like a ton of cigars, Cuban cigars. He's always complained he doesn't have a ton. So maybe I'll give him a sampler for his birthday. So I give him this like phenomenal aged sampler stick.
It was awesome.
And Senator's like, you're a lunatic. What do you, this is like, and I said, no.
Yeah, I'm like, what is he? What is he dying?
Right, what is
Am I
he dying?
dying?
But that's
I
what he
mean,
was
based
like.
on the selection, I'm like, this is like on
Yeah.
someone's deathbed
All
when you
right,
give
I'm
it.
looking
Right,
right
so-
at Rooster.
so-
Rooster, when he gave me that sampler, I didn't have what I have now in my catalog. I don't. I've grown
What, did you
to
get it in
learn.
the last 3
I
weeks?
gave him a Vegas Rabania and an
Look, that
LGO.
was
What I've
Yeah,
learned for
that was
this, Bam,
phenomenal.
But
is
you
that
have LGO 4s. You have boxes, apparently.
No.
of
I have
LGO
zero
of
of
Luke
those.
LaGloria Cabana number 4s, and I'm gifting you this shit,
All right.
not even knowing that you fucking have them.
I am-
and
The
I've got like 8 in my humidor.
I am pledging. I am making a pledge. I am happy to democratically distribute and share.
you know what I'm saying?
we've
Yes,
been
I'm
waiting
doing
years
this
to hear
thing.
these
The,
words.
the whole point of this, Bam.
It's
let me
like,
just say the whole point
Am I
of this-
wrong? Am I nuts?
Not at
Puba,
all.
we're on the
Not
same
at all.
page.
We
Pagoda.
all got
He's
bamboozled.
got
That's
boxes
Pagoda.
of fucking LGO number 4s.
Pagoda, you
I've
have to
got 8. I'm giving him 1.
Pagoda, you and
know.
Pagoda, you and I are at the same level, right?
No,
We're-
it's not.
I don't have anything.
What planet are we living on?
How about this?
We're eye to eye.
Crazy.
I got a cab of Rasses, and he says, "Yeah, I'm willing to get some from you. How much of it you want to give? 5, 10. I've given some to Dave. I got 1 cab, and I'm sharing it over here.
Well, it's
That's
a-
it. Now we got to be doing.
He does
barter.
not have a full tower.
business. It's a business exchange. That's fine.
Here's what I'm going to say. Let me just say this, okay?
It's unreal.
It's you have created a perception
I did not mean to
among the
deceive.
lizards.
Oh, you had to.
No.
You can't have that
Can
many
I-
cigars
can I
in
be
your
Senator's
honest?
applying
home.
malice.
Hold on.
I am.
So,
I
here's
am.
one thing.
I'm taking this a step further.
No,
Your Honor.
Hold on. I have to interrupt. For the listener, I'll admit, I did not have the inspiration to set up my tower until these guys.
That's not what
Just
this
two
is
separate
about.
issues.
No, I
not
know
what
that.
this is about.
But it's I didn't actually know what I had.
This is
'cause
about having a stockpile
I
like
was
there's
just
going to be a
buying.
nuclear event.
No, I was
and
buying.
you pretending like you have nothing.
Can I just say, I was going to be.
It's like
I was going
he's got a closet full of hand sanitizer in the middle of the pandemic.
Yes.
And he's accepting hand sanitizer.
Exactly.
I'm starting to feel attacked. I'm starting to resent the implication.
Let me just say,
We're feeling
I was,
attacked.
I was ready to come to your defense, and then you just literally
pulled yourself up to the crucifixion, up to the cross.
What did I do?
Just the lunacy of this whole commentary.
Oh, I
comparing
agree.
yourself to Pagoda. We see the picture of the fucking tower. It's full to the brim.
You've cornered the market, buddy.
No, I don't think so.
All right, so Bam Bam, here's the problem. And you know, let's go back to the accountability hour. The
All right.
grinder so eloquently called out.
I
Here we are. No. Hold. Let's just listen.
I need some scotch.
Here,
we've got bourbon.
here we are.
It's really good.
Here we are.
Widow
The
Jane.
six of us. Let's Bam. The six of us are sitting here last week, going, you know, we really need to help this guy put himself in a position that he can really start feel confident to start acquiring some boxes and really stop telling us how we're on a different level and we have more access and we have more resources and we
every
have
time
towers,
we're smoking
Start an aging program.
See, I'm-
etc.
And every time we're smoking, Bam saying, "Can I
just-
have one of those?
hold
Can I have
on.
one of those? I don't have that. I don't have that."
Hold on. So the aging program literally just started this past week.
because
I
you just
just- I
fired
just
up your
loaded-
tower.
That's right.
But they've
This
been
is-
aging in the Tupperware because you didn't buy them this week, Bam Bam.
That's what I want to
I've
say.
had them for a while. I don't actually.
Thank you.
Hold on. I didn't know what I had.
All right, let
I
your
didn't- hold
attorney
on.
speak.
I really didn't know what I had until
Excuse me. Let me play your defense.
Thank you.
On behalf.
He's.
Please.
Let me tell you this.
So
He's
here's-
doing. Let me just say he's doing a better job than you are.
This is.
I need a
we
defense
have,
attorney.
We have to reflect on the temporal nature of this discussion. When he bought those cigars, when you all bought a lot of cigars, we all bought a lot of cigars.
Connoisseur Corner.
We had a good few months there where we were spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on cigars.
As was
And
he.
Bam, as we all were, but Bam's line of the party at that time was, "You guys got to help me. I can't do this," and everyone was helping, right? But since
Grinder,
then, this
just
is a year and a half ago.
Just a quick point of information there. Bam has been towing that line up until he set up that
I
tower.
know. I know.
Not just a while ago, literally as recent as last week.
I'll be honest.
I'll be so here's
I didn't know what I had. I really didn't know what I had.
but that's where I'm coming. Like you know,
I didn't know
tell
what I
you
had.
the guy admits that he forgot it was in the fucking garage.
okay.
I really didn't know
I
what
wouldn't
I
be
had.
surprised if he forgot that he had these cigars.
So, counselor, are you pleading insanity on his behalf?
I'm just
Look
saying.
at Pooba.
I'm
He's
just
holding
saying.
his head in his hand. I don't
I'm-
like that.
I'm just saying. Let's have a little grace in the
Grace,
a little
really?
grace. A
Really?
little
Do you know
grace.
how many?
Do you know how much grace we
many-
showed?
Do you know how much grace I have shown this guy?
He has
More
You have.
grace. I've gotten him
I'm
more
giving you-
boxes.
have.
I'm giving you fucking
You too.
cigars from a decade ago
No, I know.
for your birthday to try and get you moving in the right direction.
Pooba, Rooster, Gizmo. You had my back.
You, meanwhile, you got boxes of these things
I didn't
stuck
know.
away.
I really didn't know.
So he is pleading insanity.
I didn't know.
So you belong to the same groups that we belong to. First of all, you know the
I-
same sites that we source the cigars from,
Yes.
right? But still, I mean, we were kind of in the dark that you had this selection.
I will
you
tell
had
you.
those-
And look, I will just say this is the last problem for me.
Problem.
Problem. Yes, this is a problem. This is a problem. If it hasn't been clear, this is a problem.
Pooba, this is actually a problem?
This is a problem.
This whole
This is a
conversation's
problem.
insane.
This is the last problem. You've set all of us here. So what's been established now at this point, you have literally the same amount of cigars I do. Maybe the same Rooster does.
No fucking
Probably the
way.
same-
Probably more.
No way.
He
There's
has
no
just a
way.
tower.
All
He has
right,
just
hold
a
on.
tower.
Come on.
Don't put
let's-
Rooster
I
and I
think
in that
that's a little-
conversation.
Let's
think
enter
that's-
the realm
I
of
won't-
reality,
okay,
please.
all right, hold on. I'll take Rooster
Gizmo,
out.
All right, hold
Rooster,
on.
and
I'll
Pooba, you got your catalogs are off the charts.
Hold
Come
on.
on. give
Pooba
me a
has
break.
a tower full. Is that correct?
I have one tower full, a lot of which
a lot
is
of age
aged
shit.
stuff.
Yes.
Right. So he has a tower full of sticks. You and I have a tower full of sticks.
Yes.
Pagoda has how much of a tower?
50%.
50% of a
50%.
tower.
Now,
Now hang on.
Grinder has
hang
a
on.
double wide.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, and it's
He
chock
does.
full. I know that.
I didn't mention Grinder in that.
All right.
Now, what I'm saying is, I think that you would sit here and say that Pooba and I have been very generous to you with cigars. Have
you
we
have. Yes. Now,
not? Would you say that you have reciprocated that?
are you saying that I haven't reciprocated? Is that true?
I think I am. Yes.
Yes.
I think I am.
What the F?
This is the Bam Bam Accountability Hour.
This is crazy.
Are you going to deny that?
He's reaching, by the way, for the listener.
I mean-
he's holding two
two
Fundadores in his
Trinidad's.
hands.
I asked for a $5. The ones that
Now,
I
we
gave
weren't.
to him.
Look, no one was offended when we thought you had no cigars, but when you show a full tower with as great sticks as you
I'll be
have, I'm
honest.
sitting there saying, well, that's funny. No one's ever offered me anything in that
I'll be
tower.
honest.
Wait, Senator, you're
So hold
forgetting
on.
that he also
I will
has
be
2
honest.
desktops.
I've had you at my place. I've opened
Yeah,
the tower.
but-
Pick what
No,
you
no,
want.
no, no.
You take a
The
classic.
desktops are bullshit. I will tell you that I didn't know. I really didn't know everything that I had because I just threw everything in a Tupperware and I forgot about it. I did.
Here's what I'm going to say.
And I had my desktops. Let's go to that.
All right.
Do you have
desktop.
any more Tupperwares too, right?
No, I actually just made my tower. It's just perfect amount of stock. The one desktop is New Worlds, and one is from our trip to Cuba. All those really wet Cubans that we got.
Yeah,
and that's all I have.
All right. So here's here's my question. Okay, my question is that you have had 6, 7, however many Tupperware containers sitting around.
Yeah,
I understand that you may not know every single box that
I
you
really
have
did
in
not
there.
know.
But it's as if you forgot you had these containers of Tupperware the way that you operate.
I didn't know what I had. I'm going to be blunt. It's honest.
Insanity.
Yeah, maybe.
He's pleading insanity.
No, it's not. It's ignorance. It's
yeah, a
not-
little bit,
Yeah.
honestly. So I just forgot about it because I was, I'm not going to give you
He-
any
he is-
excuses.
So I guess
I mean, he
here,
is a
just to-
manbo. I mean,
just to put a fine point on it. Just to put a fine point on what
I don't know what
Gizmo's
to
saying.
say, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, listen. What Gizmo's saying there is, okay, I'm willing to accept that you forgot. What just would have been nice is not for years hearing, I have nothing.
You guys
it's
have
like
so
one
much
thing
more
to
than
say,
I
like,
do.
I don't know what I have. That's
Okay.
one thing. But to actively tell us regularly,
Can I tell you what
I
it
have
was?
nothing. I have so little. You guys have. It's creating this perception
Do
that
you
you
know
have
how many
nothing. So
times-
we're sitting
He's
here
not
like
wrong.
a fucking
No,
charity.
We were bamboozled.
He's not wrong.
We were bamboozled.
Hold on.
We were
You know-
bamboozled.
You know what it was? I was intimidated by all
Oh,
you got.
Jesus.
You had the Lucy's, you had the 898s, you had the Schwa Supreme. These are cigars that for me seem unattainable.
I
And
just-
hold on.
Bullshit.
They're aged up in
This is
twos.
ridiculous.
I have 3 boxes of those, but they're like
You
20
have 2014. I don't have
No,
2014.
no. They're 2018s. Those 3 are 2018.
On the advice of counsel, I insist that you plead the fifth.
Okay. I am, ladies. So for the listener, I'm moving my mic away.
You're digging a fucking hole, man.
I thought it was moved away.
Here, listen,
you have the same. So, thanks to this group, and thanks to the group that we belong to, and all of the all of the work that everybody collectively has done to be able to source Cuban cigars. You have all of those clearly as
I've learned.
exemplified by
I've learned.
your tower,
Dude,
and
I've learned a lot from you guys.
Right.
I have.
So I think that the ongoing narrative that Senator has pounded into the ground here, is something
With BAM, it needs to be pounded into the ground.
clearly.
Pound Town.
That this is something that you have to take a hard look at yourself and look at this as an opportunity for improvement.
and for
I
the
agree.
listener,
I
again, I find this is hard, Bam. As Grinder
right.
said last week, Bam Bam.
I'm
same
on
way,
board.
if
I'm
the-
on board.
And the thing I'll say, if the
Puba,
shoe was
thank
on
you.
the other foot, you'd feel similarly.
Well,
If I told you that I have
I
nothing
know.
and I sent you that photo with a full tower and you were giving me sticks because you felt bad, you would sit there and say, "What the? How does this guy have all
I
this?"
don't
They're
know
not
what-
even partial boxes.
I don't
Can
know.
I-
what-
can I raise a
I don't know
question?
what to say
Can I
anymore.
raise a point here?
Senator,
Bam,
they're
Bam.
not even partial boxes.
They're full boxes.
They're full boxes.
He's got extra singles, by the way. We're not even getting into that. He sent those pictures too. We got 6 pictures.
I
Grinder.
thought I would impress you guys. I've actually.
Oh,
done
we
the
were
opposite.
impressed.
It is.
You
It's impressive.
incriminated yourself.
I'm trying to keep up with you guys. It feels.
So Grinder made a point last week as we were going through the Bam Bam Accountability Hour, and he made a point.
Can't believe that
I
this
don't
is
know
a
if I'm
thing.
gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna say. Well, I mean, how could it not be at this point? Okay, this is a sin. Grinder made a point that the Bam Bam Accountability Hour, it's going to hurt for a few weeks, and then it's going to really start
So
to feel better. You're going to feel better. So what you need to do is internalize this deep criticism
I have,
of your own habits.
and I am.
Really,
Yeah, I am.
you're on the defense.
No. You know what? I've internalized it, and
So-
I continue to do so.
What is your what is your client? Talk to us. Grinder.
There's a couple things again that I wanted to say. One, I think we should use this moment as a pivot to use a common parlance of the day.
Thank you.
We're gonna pivot away from the past and look forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're a new man.
I am.
You're so in it. You're going to fucking Cuba on a whim. You're smoking Cuban cigars for a week in Cuba. You're a Cuban aficionado, man.
Dude, honestly, that's exact. And I'm
So-
riding on the coattails of Gizmo.
Can I say, by the way,
you've
riding
taken-
on my coattails, I was in Cuba for
No
a
doubt.
week with this guy. You would have thought that he's never seen a Cuban cigar before.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay,
why?
You would have never thought
No
that this guy
way.
had
Rooster.
I
I
don't-
walked
I don't
into a
believe it.
Partagas shop over there. I felt
Let me
like I
tell you,
was in
his
heaven.
tower has way
It
more
was
Partagas
heavenly.
than the Partagas shop has.
I don't know about that.
So you have bam. You have
100%.
you have the 2,500 sticks in the tower, in the season tower.
Mm.
You have a collection that is resoundingly phenomenal.
It's excellent.
It's wonderful. Cigars we all love and enjoy every day.
You have, I would
And-
say, more Cubans than Grinder does.
Absolutely. 100%.
I think Bond Roberts is gonna
100%.
be
Fact.
Fact. Total fact. And I would say that at this moment, you're one of the most enlightened cigar aficionados
No.
in the Gen Pop,
I'm not-
as they say. In
no,
the Gen
no, no.
Pop.
I don't
In the
know.
Gen Pop.
This humility exercise ends today.
So you
Come on.
need to understand that you got it going on, man.
So I'm
Looking forward. You're all
it's easy
upside.
to
So
buy.
no more woe is me.
It's very difficult to understand what you're buying. And I'm trying to learn
Jesus.
about what I'm buying.
Totally. I want some Coronas Claros. I want
You
a
got it.
Fundadores.
You got it.
I want a fucking LGO.
Okay.
This is bullshit. I fucking I mean, am I nuts?
no.
Uh,
No.
I
Can I just-
imagine, by
can
the
I
way, when I
echo?
got that picture, what I was imagining, Puba, was Bam Bam sitting there and saying, Bam, this is Bam.
Yeah.
We have way more stock than we expected.
It's true. It's true.
Right.
And I wouldn't have done it if you guys didn't inspire
But
me
let's-
to do it.
this-
I would not have done it.
This podcast would not be the same without your malfeasance.
It's time. It's time.
Agreed.
My malfeasance.
It's time to reciprocate.
Okay, you got it.
The theme
You
is
got it.
when you have a lot, you share, as we all do.
Honestly, I think all of you are much more sophisticated buyers of Cuban cigars.
Enough of that.
Come on.
So
Get
not
off
sound-
the Hold on. Gizmo knows where I buy my cigars. There's two guys.
Yeah,
in
me.
No, you and two other guys at
Bam,
6'2", and
bam.
that's
Guess
it.
what? This has
They're in
nothing
this
to
room.
do with the source. We're
Well,
not
it
sitting here
does.
like,
It
well,
does.
you sourced
Oh,
from this
come
guy, we
on.
sourced from. No,
No,
it doesn't.
that's not
Bam,
true.
Bam,
Not
you've
true.
missed the point. You've missed the point.
All
This
right.
has nothing to do with, well, I sourced from this guy and you sourced
Well,
from that guy. It has to do with when you have a lot,
Listen,
you
I've
share.
learned.
That's
Okay.
what the moral of the
So,
story is.
Puba, I'm looking at you. I have learned a lesson tonight. I have learned a lesson.
When we talked about the Vegas Urbana Clásicos, right? When we talked about it, I actually listened to the episode.
You fucking guys have
I
boxes of
actually-
that
I
shit.
could-
I
No,
have,
don't.
don't.
I have-
What are you, a
have-
fucking
I have-
lunatic?
I have three.
I have half a box and I gave you your first one you ever
Yes, you
smoked.
did. Yes, you did, Senator.
All right,
That
so hold on.
Because
inspired
that's what
me.
a generous
So
person
when we
does.
That
talk
inspired me.
So listen, I want you to walk away from this conversation with this notion. And if anyone disagrees, raise your hand. The smoking cigar, think about it. Smoking cigars and sharing cigars with people is part of the pastime and the hobby. It's actually intrinsic to it. So
Don't make me cry.
so think about that when we do a review of whatever it is, whether it's the Monte Cristo, whatever special cigars you have. All I can say is, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but all I'll say is every special cigar that I've ever sourced,
Yeah.
I've shared with the group.
Same here.
Same here.
Period.
Can I?
Every single special
Okay.
cigar that
All
I've
right.
ever sourced
Can
in
I?
my life, I've shared with the group.
Can
Spot
I,
on.
Can I say this?
Spot on.
My tower is your tower. All of you. And
Well,
I
that's
am,
how all of us think.
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just
with
saying-
you. And I'm just getting my tower now.
You've had it for 9 months.
I know.
I
And
gave
you've- and
away.
you-
I just wanna be
gave
clear.
away.
I've been
That
inspired-
Classicos was so good.
It was
I
incredible.
gave away more Classicos
Bro.
than I smoked.
Can I tell you that?
Am I
class-
wrong?
No.
I gave away more than I smoked
know
when
how
I
good it
first
was,
saw
Sam.
them because I said this cigar's so good. I can't just enjoy this alone.
That
I
fucking
must share it.
Classico. That
But that
Classico
goes
was the
for every
catalyst,
cigar.
brother. That cigar was a catalyst to all of our Cuban
Okay,
experience.
fine. So
and
and
what
the
I'm
opening
trying
of
of
the
the Cuban Vitola.
So
for
he's
that,
saying
the catalog
then
for
you
us.
should reciprocate.
You
Is what
should-
he's saying.
in other words, that is the
Agreed.
the part of this hobby that is
100%.
actually integral to it. So in my mind, my mentality is well, what am I going to just smoke this in a vacuum? Am I just going to smoke this and enjoy that? Well, it's not enjoyable unless you share the experience with somebody else.
That's right.
So you gotta.
I
I
agree.
mean, when
Of course,
Rooster
of
comes,
course.
okay,
I know.
and
I
he
know.
goes, "Hey, everybody!" He brings not just 7. He brings the whole fucking box and goes, "Here, guys, pick the one. Pick one. Look at the foot and pick one that you like." He goes that far to do that. So what I'm saying is that this is the mentality I
Agreed.
think of the hobby,
I agree.
and that's what should be done.
I don't
Period.
disagree.
Hard stop.
I don't disagree. And my tower is all of your towers.
What does that mean?
That's a good question, Rooster.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. That's what should be done. That's
Agreed.
what we all do in this group.
That's true.
Like
now,
to Puba's point,
until-
nothing brings me more joy. We all, now we've established, you too, Bam, you have to be able to say this.
I am.
We all have tremendous collections. All of us. Literally,
do.
every person sitting here.
I can
Nothing
only-
brings me more joy than when one of the guys here actually doesn't have something that I just happen to have.
Right.
And that I can provide because we're all very hard to shop for. So as soon as, like Rooster asked for fundies the other day, I said, I'm going to come here and watch football, and I finally have something that I can give Rooster that's going to make his afternoon, and I'm going to bring him a fundie. If Puba doesn't have something, like remember you ran out of Classicos before you got the most recent box.
That's correct.
And it was your birthday coming up, and I was like, you know what I'm going to give him?
And
a
he gave me a
Classicos.
very special fucking
And so
sampler.
a 2011, a whole sampler, exactly. A H. Culebra, all this stuff. Like
right.
nothing brings me more joy. And every person here is the same way. So what we're saying is like, now that you have to accept, like you actually
I
have
am.
a tremendous
I am.
collection. If I say, hey, I've never had that before, I would hope that you would want to
Of
actually
course,
share
of
something.
course.
so a couple-
and now that I've clearly defined my catalog, I don't know how it compares to yours, but honestly, I would love to share what
listen.
I have.
All right, here's
I
the
would
one
love to
thing.
share what I have.
This is we are at a moment now.
Yes.
We have accomplished what
Thank
we
you.
needed to accomplish.
Can we move on?
No,
I
we
just-
are not done.
I just
we are
want to
not-
say one more thing.
Go ahead.
The episode that we did the Classicos on, like a
Yes.
perfect example.
Right.
I brought what I had after we did the 2011. I also have the 2001, and you have the 2001s.
I have 3. One of yours is in my box.
All right, so that day
I have
you
2.
brought
Of course it is.
you brought the 2001 and you didn't have the 2011 for
Right.
the pod.
Mm.
And I said, well, that's why I brought extras so I can hand them out to whoever doesn't have one. I gave one
I
to
did the same.
Pagoda.
That's right. And I did the same. I brought extras.
I
I
brought
brought,
extras.
I brought
And I
3
gave
or
one to
4
you
with me.
I
because-
saw that, Puba. I
Because
saw
when
that.
you're potting, you want to be smoking the same cigar so you can have
Sure.
the same experience. So that's the point. Like if I smoke a cigar the first time alone, I can't wait to share that cigar with all the lizards. Whether we pot or not on it, I mean,
Right.
it's just you want to share, and hopefully other lizards have the same experience. And that's why
course.
that's what this hobby is
course.
all about.
Of course.
That's what cigars are all about.
Yeah, of
It's-
course.
It's about sharing.
And I haven't gotten into all of my cigars that I have. Like
Okay,
I've smoked
so-
all those cigars, but I haven't really I haven't delved into them.
How does that jar of Noella smoke?
You're gonna know soon.
Okay, so
So I think you know.
all right,
You
so
will.
here's
They're great.
yeah.
Gizmo has a jar of those. We're gonna have those.
I've
as a
never
group.
opened. I
Yeah,
haven't
of course.
opened.
from
Gizmo.
Gizmo's jar.
From Gizmo
No.
Jar. It's like you can't get out of this.
Are you serious? I'll bring the whole fucking
right, so-
jar and
all right,
put it on
okay.
that table.
Okay, all right. The dead horse.
The horse is dead.
Is officially beaten to the point that we needed to. Now,
Yes.
there's a few things that we need to do to wrap up the Bam Bam Accountability Hour.
There's
Okay?
more.
What is
There
not
is.
over yet?
And
To
this
the
is-
listener.
This
To the
is an
listener.
exercise.
Is this where-
This is clinical, guys.
This is
so-
an exercise.
Is this where he does
This
the blood
is-
oath?
This
Yes.
is crazy.
This is an exercise.
This is crazy.
Branding.
This is. I'm getting a brand.
Well,
Yeah.
You're getting the lizard brand.
This
Bam
is
Bam.
this is crazy.
Listen to me. All right, you're going to repeat after me.
No.
I, Bam Bam, repeat, go ahead,
I Bam Bam
have a phenomenal collection
have a decent collection.
Oh, here
No,
we go.
here we go.
Here
He's
we
defiant.
fucking go.
All right. Have a phenomenal collection.
that not only am I going to stop saying is mediocre,
That not only am I going to stop saying it's mediocre,
but I'm also going to share with my fellow lizards.
but I will absolutely share with all of my lizards in this room.
And I'm going to stop telling the listener
And I'm going to stop telling the listener.
that I don't have any cigars.
I only did that twice, but I'll stop telling the listener that I don't have any cigars.
Okay, very important. Thank you.
He's still defiant. Now we have a beekeeper mask, which
I'll
we're going to
take-
put on your head like Baba Booey.
Go ahead, Grinder.
No, I will say, Bam Bam has been more than generous to me on many occasions by sharing sticks.
Indeed.
And I don't want to get the impression to the listener that he's not a generous person.
I love you,
Okay,
Grinder.
so we're all going to need to change our name to Grinder then.
You're a good
Well,
sport.
he
He's a
has
good
obviously,
sport. He's a good
obviously
sport.
retained you for a fee.
Yeah, it's very good.
A box of Lucy's.
My man. Yeah.
Oh, God.
You're a good sport, and we love you.
All right,
I
listen.
love you.
Okay,
I love you.
let us
You're a
just
good
say
sport.
we love Bam Bam. This was an important moment for all the lizards out there. We've had a few lizards, despite what Bam Bam thinks. We've had a few lizards email. If you heard the best of, one of them said, "If Bam Bam was doing this in my group, he'd be out."
Oh, that's
Oh.
heartbreaking.
Woo! He
So,
said it.
For
His
that
name is Bill.
listener, I want to reassure you the tower is set, and now the generosity will begin.
Look at that.
Look at
This
that.
is
Now that we know what we have.
so. Now, what I would say is we have successfully completed the Bam Bam accountability.
Are you sure? Do you
Indeed.
want Bam to call
sure
Bam?
have.
Just to
So hey,
solidify it?
Hold
hey,
on.
the great
Bam has talked to Bam, and we're good.
Bam is
All right,
talking
perfect.
very good. And you know what the great thing is that moving forward, he was smart enough to send us the entire list of
Yes.
what's in his humidor.
Everything.
That was intentional.
Which
That
was,
was-
and so I will give you credit for full transparency.
Intentional, yes.
There.
And I urge all lizards in this room to do the same. Get an inventory going.
Unless
Put
you
it-
keep your humidor like me, like Pigpen.
Oh gosh. Well, I genuine. This is going to sound like I'm being sarcastic. I'm not. I am seriously thrilled that not only do you have your tower set up, it's organized brilliantly.
Mm.
You have an excellent collection that you should be proud of, and every single lizard would be proud of, and you should start smoking the shit out of it.
I tend to be more take the humble road on
Yes.
things. I appreciate that.
You have an excellent collection.
Thank you.
Sure do.
Thank you.
Does anybody disagree with that?
Not at all.
No.
I
Thank
mean,
you so
It's
much.
fantastic.
You know that your opinions all in this room mean a lot to me, and
Yeah.
I've learned tremendously
We're deadly serious when we say that you have
from the guys in this room.
+% of everything we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that means a lot. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Honestly, I didn't know.
It may be true. He's like Dan Cortez. Remember Dan Cortez in the Seinfeld episode?
What?
Because he's that good looking. Remember the guy?
From
And then
MTV.
George,
Just everything
and
good
then,
happens to
and then
him.
George Costanza has the man crush.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
him. Remember on Dan Cortez?
You got to step
he's
off.
He's a man. There's a man. What's up with this guy? He's a mambo. He's a
Step
mambo.
off. Step off. Step off.
Step off. Step off. That's right. Step off, man.
All right. Well,
Uh,
I think we did exactly what we needed to do. This was a very important moment,
Thank you.
and I think this is as Grinder said, we've pivoted now.
Gizmo, you could take over for Maury or any of these shows. I was very impressed with your moderation of this.
Oh, thank
Maury.
you.
Now, not to change the subject, but this
We have the results right here. Is Bam the father?
He is the father.
Bam, this is Bam.
not to
Bam,
change.
you are the father.
I don't know what to say. Not to
You don't
change-
say I don't know what to say. You say Bam does not know what to say.
Bam does not know Bam.
Let's go back to the my father's thing.
Yeah.
Honestly-
So we are in the last third here, boys.
It is very good.
It's still very good. Now, I want to say one thing that I anticipated, and it did come to pass. I did have to do a second cut. Mine
me.
did get a little wet. I got a little bit of a tar blast while we were kind of
Not me at all.
busting Bam's balls,
No,
and
no.
I did a little cut, and it opened right up. It's perfect.
Not
Very
me.
similar to some of the fun to doors that I've had where I've needed to do that. You know,
I think this cigar will get a very high rating by Bam Bam.
I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying it. What do you guys think?
For me, it's been consistent, which is all I wanted out of this stick because it started off pretty strong,
Yeah.
and I'm in the final third, and I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah. The delivery is fantastic.
What do you think of it, Grinder?
Do you want me to do my rating now, or do you
No.
No.
my cigar is out.
Do you need a light?
No,
Well, you were hard at work as the defense attorney.
I was hard at work.
Oh, you're done
It's
with
gonna.
it.
I feel like it's gonna pay dividends when you get your.
Lucy
I,
cat.
I am.
already.
It's a good cigar. It definitely turned stringent on me. Just about here, probably about an inch and a half left.
Okay.
So tarry, and it's not enjoyable,
Hmm.
but a lot of it was good.
Hmm.
And I look forward to having another one.
You might have been
So-
smoking it a little fast from what I see, like where you are, as
Oh, yeah,
opposed
totally.
to,
Yeah, that's probably why.
So I'm about an inch and a quarter away from the end. Honestly, You guys
Go
are. I'm
fast.
a little ahead of you guys, but I am really still enjoying this cigar.
I'm not that
Me
far.
too.
I'm not that far ahead,
tremendously
actually.
enjoying this cigar.
I feel
Tremendous.
like I'm certainly gonna go out and buy a box of these
Oh,
Absolutely.
at
Hell yeah.
$217. I mean,
There's none left.
I'm definitely gonna get a box.
They're all in Bam's tower.
Yeah.
It's the second row.
Damn you, Senator.
He might have a second tower that we don't know about.
Can you turn off Senator's mic, please?
that was Rooster, by the way.
Puba, you were a little critical of the cigar.
Yeah.
How you feeling about it right now?
Yeah. I feel like it was a good cigar. I mean, it didn't blow my hair back. I wasn't blown away by it, but it was pleasant enough for me. And at $10, you know,
If someone gave this to you on an afternoon, you'd smoke
yeah,
it.
I'd smoke it
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I'm surprised by how good it is.
What do you think, Pagoda?
Oh, I really enjoyed it, and I've had no negative flavors at all.
Agreed.
And for me, I think
Pagoda, agreed.
I'm going to go out and get a box right away.
100%.
I'm definitely ordering
No
a box
question.
tonight
100%.
because I love this Vitola. We've said it 1,000 times. We've said it twice on this podcast already. The Lancero is so awesome as a Vitola. I wish there were more of them. You know, Lanceros and Lonsdales are just excellent.
To your point, Giz, some of the guys in this room will remember this because a few of us did it. When we were at another lounge of ours, we did a New World Lancero night
Yeah.
just based on what we could buy in that shop there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we did an Oliva V Lancero,
Yep.
a
Herrera.
Herrera
Esteli.
Esteli,
That was the third.
and a Drew Estate.
Oh, yeah.
like,
The Norteño?
yeah, it was like a darker one.
But also that unusual, that guy that came and presented. Remember that cigar? I don't
no,
remember
we
the name
didn't do
of it.
that. That's like $100 Lancero.
Sanspar.
Sanparai?
We didn't do that.
We didn't do
thing.
that? Okay.
No.
Okay.
But we did those three, and it was the Drew Estate that won that night.
Yeah.
But smoking this for me would place ahead of all
I
three of those
agree.
I just mentioned.
Really?
Senator, I agree with you.
Wow. And I got to say, as we've been talking and laughing, the bourbon has really, really held up wonderfully. I'm glad it doesn't have the rough edges that a lot of bourbons do.
It
I
does.
agree.
It does need a little bit of ice.
You need
It
to,
does need
yeah. I'm
ice.
glad I put it. You know, Rooster gave me a couple chips as we were pouring.
Yeah.
I think that opened it up just
did.
enough,
Yeah.
smoothed it out,
Yeah. It's delicious though.
and it's only 10 years. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's for what it is. I was really impressed.
Not
How
only
much is
for
that?
bourbon, that's long.
That
Yeah.
you know what? That's a good
Yeah,
point.
let's just
I'm,
be
I'm
clear.
comparing to
bourbon
Scotch.
never puts age statements on stuff.
Yeah, I'm
I
comparing
always
to Scotch.
pursue bourbons that put an age statement. We did Eagle Rare way in the early days, I feel like, of the podcast.
we did. Yeah.
And I love Eagle Rare because it actually puts a 10-year age statement on there.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
expensive though
Um,
Yeah, it's
compared
not
to
cheap.
this.
It's hard to find too.
Well, I mean, the actual retail price of Eagle Rare is very cheap. It's $40 a bottle.
It's the resale.
It's the
Oh,
resale because
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
hard to find now that
Right.
they're just jacking it up.
I-
So how much was this bottle, Ben?
I want to say it's like $60.
Okay.
Something like that, if I remember.
So I would think that at a reasonable retailer,
Hmm.
the Eagle Rare is probably fairly comparable to that. It's probably 70, 75 maybe.
I like this better though.
I feel like
this
I like
goes
this
for
better.
that too, though. Honestly,
Yeah.
there's like a big range on this. I've seen this as high as even 80 sometimes.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
true.
Okay.
It's true.
It really depends.
Excellent. So are you guys ready to do the formal liquor rating on the Widow Jane tenure?
Oh yeah.
All right. Bam Bam, you're up.
I'm giving this a 9.
9. Okay. Grinder?
It's my favorite bourbon.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Grinder, how you feeling about it?
I'm giving it a solid 7.
Okay.
It's a little more alcohol content for me. It's a little bite, even with the
The
water.
ice.
Yeah, the ice.
Yep.
Bam Bam likes a bite.
And I just have other bourbons that I like more, and yeah, it's a solid 7.
What would you put ahead of it, just out of curiosity?
So this is kind of embarrassing. I would take a sweeter, smoother Makers over this any day.
This
The
doesn't have,
46.
this
maybe?
doesn't have any sweetness for you? Really?
No,
Wow.
I think it's the bite that I get.
I won't argue with. I have like a, for some reason, this like love for Makers that I'll like never ever
That's
shake.
true.
So I can't shit on that at all.
And Michter's, obviously you introduced
Yeah,
Michter's is great.
Michter's is
Yeah.
great.
That's a phenomenal.
It is.
I got another bottle as a gift this recent
That's
birthday
great. Super.
again, and it's gone. It's a great bourbon. There's a lot of really good bourbons out there.
What about that Four Roses that you guys had?
Oh,
Small
that
batch
small
select,
batch
that
That
was
was
great.
really
Yeah.
good.
Good.
I was
That was
impressed.
Yeah, the small batch is pretty good. The normal Four Roses is we
It's
did
hard.
a
Too sweet.
bourbon tasting.
Yeah, the normal Four Roses is hard to
at
drink.
my place, and we did Four Roses. Remember the bourbon tasting
I
I
think
did?
that was like the regular one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the regular
small
one.
batch special select.
That's
and,
hard,
and
a
that
little hard.
that placed at the bottom of the
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
tasting.
Really?
Yeah.
Which honestly is why I'm glad you brought that up, because these guys will remember when a listener had recommended and a friend that Four
Yeah. Oh,
Roses
yeah.
had recommended that. And my view of Four Roses is very colored by like some of their more entry level stuff that I just don't find that enjoyable. And like Grinder said, we did a blind tasting of this and it scored like way at the bottom. So I was so skeptical of that. But that particular bottle, I give a lot of credit. It's actually a really good bourbon.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. So Bam was at a 9, Grinder a 7, Pagoda
8.
8.
I'll definitely go and probably get a bottle of this.
Okay. Senator?
I've been debating between 8 and a 9, but I think I'm firmly an 8.
Hmm.
I'm not a huge bourbon guy, but this is one of the bourbons that when we're at one of our lounges and a guy has a bottle and offers me some, it's one of the few bourbons that I will happily drink, and I have really nothing bad to say about.
I'm at a 9 for sure. I really
Nice.
enjoyed this bourbon
Wow,
tonight.
nice. Good to hear.
I'm very pleasantly surprised by this. I
Yeah.
love that it's made in Brooklyn.
Yep.
It paired up perfectly. Very pleasant for me on my palate. I loved it. Puba?
Yeah, I'm kind of between the 7 and an 8. I did like it. I'm going to give it an 8.
Nice.
So I'd recommend it. What's the price point on it again?
$60.
Yeah. 8.
So the formal liquor rating on the Widow Jane 10-year is an 8.2.
Very good
It's perfect.
score.
Great
Fair.
score. That's
Very
that's a perfect score for this.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, I didn't explain really my 8 and why I was debating between the two. The one complaint I have with this bourbon, it's like a blessing and a curse in that for its proof, it drinks smooth with a little ice, but I want a little more flavor out of it. Like Grinder mentioned Michter's that I like Michter's, it lets you know it's there. Like it's got a lot of flavor, and this is a bit more mellow in the flavor department. It has the alcohol, it's got the proof, it's got the strength, but it's just a little mellower.
I
on the
think
flavor
if you're
side.
careful with the amount of ice you put in, a chip or two, you'll get that experience. I think.
That's fair.
Actually, somebody in the lounge just offered me a little bit of taste of the Widow Jane. I forgot the name. It was a different.
They have a few.
Yeah, it's on my phone actually.
It's very sweet.
But that was very sweet, very mapley and very
Yeah.
sweet, and a little more, I think, viscous, and there was a little bit more viscosity.
Yeah.
And just a sip, it's very difficult to say.
Yeah.
But it depends. I think they are doing really good stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's for a New York made and distilled bourbon. I mean, to even put it with like a Kentucky bourbon like Michter's,
It's surprising.
that's a legendary.
Yeah.
To even be in the same conversation is kind of
One thing,
not there. I mean, it's you're talking about a bourbon that's been being made for
Yeah, it's legendary.
decades and
Yeah,
decades and
yeah,
decades,
yeah.
maybe longer. And so kudos to these guys that they're able to actually produce something
Mhm.
in New York State. That's
Yeah. In the
that's
city.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. So
It's impressive.
that's an impressive accomplishment. I mean, you're not going to be able to compete really
Yeah, with Kentucky.
with Michter's and
Yeah.
a legendary distiller like that.
Very fair.
just
know,
to
very
what you
fair.
said there, Puba. I mean, I was just looking up Widow Jane when we were trying to figure out the origin of the name, and I guess my perception, it being made in Brooklyn, and we know of bourbon is really coming from Kentucky, and for some reason I have this clearly misperception that maybe the ingredients it just doesn't hold itself to the same standard. And I'm really surprised when you read the story of Widow Jane, ingredients are like their pride and joy. They have this whole thing. Widow Jane is the only distillery to use GMO-free ingredients at every point in their process. The grain that's used in it is sourced from a town 10 minutes away from the Widow Jane mine. Like,
That's
it's
cool.
all local.
Yeah.
It's fresh. Like there's just a cool story about that I wouldn't really expect from a distillery that's based in Brooklyn.
Yep.
I just think that's a really cool part of their story.
Very cool.
It's a very cool part of their story, and they're not the only ones who are kind of doing this up in New York State and the Hudson Valley, and are making and maybe distilling in there or bottling in Brooklyn or whatever they're doing. There are other companies that are been doing it. So
this makes me want to try more.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, it does. So they do a pretty good job, and to be comparing it to something like Michter's is good company.
Big time.
I think an 8.2 is a perfect score for
Agreed.
this. Yeah, I think it really delivered.
Yeah.
So we're coming to the end, boys, of the My Father No. 4 Lancero. I've really enjoyed this start to finish. It's picked up a little bit in the last third in a really, really pleasant way that I'm kind of surprised at.
Yeah, a lot of pepper now.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we rate this thing?
Complex. I think Senator mentioned it earlier. It is a complex cigar for $10.
I'm still enjoying it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm on the last third and I'm still enjoying it. And this is, to me, the best Lancero New World I've ever had.
Agreed. Yeah. And at 3/4 of an inch from the end, it's still very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And it's like everything that I want out of a cigar, I'm getting out of this. Great flavor. The construction is great. Maybe I had to relight it once.
Not at all for me.
Yeah.
So excellent cigar.
Great cigar.
Yeah.
All right, Rooster, you ready to do the formal Lizard rating?
Yeah, I mean, for all of that, for those reasons, don't laugh at me, but I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's not outlandish.
I mean, it's really satisfying smoke, and especially if you consider the price.
$10.
The price point on this.
Puba's having an aneurysm for the listener. Literally convulsing in his chair.
He's in the corner right now, not knowing what to do.
The one thing I want to say is, Rooster giving, he has a reputation in this podcast of being a very, he likes his aged Cubans, connoisseur corner. The fact that you're giving a New World Lancero that's under $10 a 9 is really, really a testament to this cigar.
Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Agreed.
And now for the contrary opinion, Puba.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give this an honest review, and it's what I feel, and this has clearly been a polarizing cigar, but it's a 6 for me. I didn't. It's a 6.
Wow.
I didn't love it, and for multiple reasons. So it's a 6 for me. It's a 6. It's a 6.
When you give Puba a New World stick, please take the bands off.
That's
listen. By the way, the data
true.
shows
I mean,
the data shows that he's right on par, Cuban and non-Cuban, which is the same for you, Rooster.
I think that. I'm going to push back. I'm going to push back a little bit because there's absolutely.
Is this an accountability hour or just an accountability minute?
No, I'm going to push back seriously.
Thank you, Senator.
There's absolutely no to even make an implication that there's vanity in anything that I smoke is complete bullshit.
Are you serious?
There's absolutely zero. No, is an Ashton VSG a vanity cigar?
Oh, no.
Or other New World cigars that I've rated a 9,
the Liga 9,
like the Illusion, like the Liga, like other New World sticks I've rated 8 and 9.
No, he has done that.
I mean, please,
he has.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
There's so no. I didn't really like the cigar that much, and I thought it was good. I wouldn't buy one. If someone gave one to me, I'd smoke it, but I'm not investing an hour and 20 minutes in this particular Lancero. It's not for me, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's my father. I mean, I'm sorry, it doesn't.
I haven't had.
Why would I rate the cigar low just because of the band on it? That's fucking insane.
I think he was kidding, but
okay. No, because it's been mentioned. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't, which is fucking lunacy. Because why would I? If I liked it, why wouldn't I be with you guys and saying I'll go buy a box?
Sure.
What would be that motivation for me to be cool? To be like a cooler guy? Like that's lunacy.
To me, this is the best Lancero I have ever smoked.
Well,
I haven't had a better
Okay,
Lancero.
you're
no.
off the res.
Yeah, so I
Dude,
can't
in a
say
new
that.
wor- in a
no,
new,
I'm
in
with
a
him
new,
on that.
In a New World steak, what Lancero have you had that has delivered? Like
There's a
this?
foundation Lancero that's actually very good, but
the
this,
Tabernacle one.
yeah, Tabernacle, yeah.
But we
this,
should do that. I've not
Yeah, I haven't had that.
yeah.
So from the ones I've had, I mean, this is
So here's
This is insanity.
so we're going to continue with the rating. So
yeah, please.
Rooster at a 9, Puba at a 6. I'm going to rate this right where I rated the Ashton VSG.
Hmm.
It delivered as surprising an experience for me at an even lower price point than the VSG did, and I'm also going to give this a 9.
I gave the VSG what a 9.
You did.
Thank
Yeah, you did.
I'm not
yeah.
dismissing.
No, he
I,
did. He did.
I am not. Listen,
Well,
my
let's be fair.
experience.
Puba smoked a lot of Ashtons before he got into Cubans.
He's an Ashton guy, as
He
we
is.
discussed.
Okay, and you should be thanking me for bringing the. I mean, what the fuck?
It's true. It's true.
We're just busting your chops. We're like,
All right, so Rooster at a 9, Puba at a 6. I'm at a 9. I thought that this experience, and it's still going to go through the end of the episode here. I've really enjoyed this. I'm going to buy a box tonight. Absolutely,
Yeah.
very good. Senator,
Can you buy me a box?
yes,
oh boy.
he has not changed.
That
boys.
was a joke. That was a
What a
joke.
sport.
That was a joke. I'm kidding.
for all the listeners who
I'm
think
kidding.
that we're sitting here and we hate each other. It's not the case.
All
right,
I'll give you 2 for the 2 fundies you brought.
Right here, baby. They're
All right.
waiting for you.
Senator, go.
So I've been between an 8 and a 9 on this, and I always mention I think it's impossible not to factor in price point. Like
Totally
if this
agree.
cigar were $30, this wouldn't even be an 8. But the fact that this is $10 and even you can find it for cheaper than that, I got to round up to a 9 on this. This is one of the few New Worlds that I would smoke again. I'm not sure that this would to be clear. This doesn't factor into my rotation as often as a VSG does or some of the other New Worlds that have surprised us, just because the flavor profile of those is bolder and more in line with what I typically crave in a New World cigar. But for an afternoon smoke, when I just want something that's going to be pleasant and satisfying, not too aggressive, and I'm not looking to light up a fundy that I can't easily replace, and I want just a smaller ring gauge Lancero, I could have this in an afternoon and be perfectly satisfied. So for that and the price point, I'll give it a 9.
All right, Pagoda.
I think I agree with Senator here because it's not in my flavor profile, but at the same time, I think I've really enjoyed it. It's one of these cigars, I think, if I come early to the lounge in the afternoon, for me, it's going to be an indoor cigar as opposed to be, like an outdoor. I've really enjoyed it. I'm at the nub. It's a 9 for me.
All right, Grinder.
So I was between a 6 and a 7, because it's not that different from other Rio, I guess Rosada Habano wrapper cigars I've had before, and I like Lanceros. We talk about Lanceros. You've made that point. When I think of where I slot this Vitola, it's always going to get a 7 because I just love it. I love the, even though I was a little aggressive on the burn, when I slowed down, it was a great, it's a great smoke, and it forces you to kind of get into the moment and slow down and relax, right? For that reason, it's a 7. For the other reasons, I didn't lend a 6 to this as a result of that, but it was good. I'll grab it if I'm offered it. I'll smoke it. I'm never going to buy a box of it. There's so many other good cigars for me to smoke. But it is a good experience. Its flavors are solid. I just didn't find it that inspiring.
And what's your rating?
7.
Quick question. Is there a New World Lancero that you would smoke over this?
Absolutely. The Norteño. I love that cigar. I have 3 boxes.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
And
should do that
Have
on the
we
pod.
done it
Yeah,
on the
we should
pod?
do
I
it.
thought
No.
we did.
No.
No,
we
have
haven't done
not.
that. I have a few of those at home, and when you take the wrapper to your nose, it really looks and feels and smells like a very strong
course you
cigar.
do. Of
Imagine
course, you
that.
have 3 boxes at home.
No, but I have 2 of those. I have 2 sticks. He has 3
2
boxes.
sticks.
Yeah, Grinder has 3
So,
boxes.
but
I
imagine,
am
imagine that.
resenting the implication. All right.
Imagine that that Liga flavor packed into that small lancero.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the Liga wrapper on those Norteños is far richer.
It's very rich.
And then they pack it in that lancero, and they have this kind of mild binder. It's like a lighter body binder. It's phenomenal.
We should do that on the pod.
should. That Norteña is.
I should share the cigars and bring them to the pod.
Look at this.
That's another lesson that Grinder learned.
That's
tonight.
an intimidating cigar.
Hint, hint.
Yes, yes. So,
all right, Bam Bam.
Yeah, so I'm echoing, Senator, you mentioned earlier the Cuban-esque nature of this cigar. It's, I think, 100% accurate. And just from those qualities, I know Puba's going to have an aneurysm. I am going to give this a 9. The price point at $10 for the experience, unparalleled for that price point. 9.
I also want to say just real quick,
9.
Puba mentioned, we don't pursue cigars for vanity's sake or anything like that.
Yes, we do.
But no, I agree with him. I certainly don't. There are sticks we smoke that look somewhat ridiculous. We love culebras. They look like a joke, and they're amazing.
And we thought
cigars.
they were a joke.
Right. And we were completely blown away. But I just say that because what also surprised me about this cigar, and I think it's just worth saying, and Gizmo kept using the word throughout this recording, elegant. It looks like, it does not look like a $10 cigar. When Rooster handed me that, I'm sitting there like, how is this my father's cigar? I just don't. You look at the judge, and that looks like a rustic,
it's a brick.
Honestly, a mess of a cigar.
It's a brick.
This looks like an elegant cigar. The pigtail perfect at the end. Invisible seams. I had not one construction complaint with the cigar.
No.
And I think that for $10, I don't know many sticks I would ever say that about.
But honestly, even put the Vitola aside, the experience that we've got for this and the notes in it, I can care less what the size is. The experience and the notes that I'm getting are off the charts.
Well, and honestly, I think that all of the things you just said, Bam, are correct, but they're only enhanced and bettered by the fact that it is in a Lancero. Because I think that in the hand, I don't know, aside from a Lonsdale, a better Vitola. I just think
Agreed.
a Lancero, for me, is absolutely what I want to have in my hand as often as I can.
It's true.
What I find interesting about this cigar is that, it's been exciting, a bit polarizing, but
Very polarizing.
exciting from the very beginning to the end. There are very few cigars that we go and we get so excited about cigars and talk about with a certain amount of passion. And I think this just happens to be one of the cigars.
It had its moments. It had its moments for me.
Yeah, it does. No, it's like one of those.
It did.
What's the rating?
So the Formal Lizard rating, by the way, is an 8.3.
Nice.
So here's the thing that I want to say, that from a polarizing standpoint of this cigar. Number one, there aren't a lot of cigars where we sit in the room together and there is quite a difference in the scores. We're usually kind of in the ballpark. So what I find interesting about this, and it kind of parlays into the fact that, any listener out there, and we know that there are listeners out there who kind of align with one or two of our palates and kind of really relate to the way the Pagoda smokes or the way the Puba smokes or the way the Rooster smokes and what each of us prefer. So this is a good example of use the tool that we have on the website, the rating archive. If you align with a specific one of us that you align with our palate, this is a good example that if you align with Puba's palate, you align with Grinder's palate, this cigar may not be for you.
And that rating tool that you have online, it's an excellent resource to actually buy and stock your humidor.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
And there's a couple 6s in the room and there's a couple 9s. I don't know the last time that happened. And I think that that's a really good exercise for the listener. We're all smoking the same cigar from the same source, and we all had wildly different experiences.
And actually, it was 1 6 and 1 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you were the 6, he was a 7.
Yeah.
And the rest of us were 9s, I think, or 8s.
Yeah.
9s.
Yeah.
The Lucy we smoked with Rob was a little polarizing.
Yeah, true.
But that had construction issues too.
Yes,
It
true.
did.
That blew up.
This did not.
Yeah, this wasn't a construction issue thing, which even makes my point even more valid. This is purely based on flavor. We had quite a bit of a different experience than among the 7 of us. So
if you smoke a Cuban Lancero, I don't care what you paid for it. If you're having like 7 sticks out of the same box, there's a good chance that
3 are going to be a
you're gonna
problem.
have some issues.
Rooster, bro,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to that Cohiba Lancero that I had in Cuba with Gizmo. Honestly, that's probably the best cigar that I've ever smoked.
Wow.
It really is an incredible cigar. This was delicious. I'm not going to compare the two because it's two different worlds. But this experience was fantastic. Off the charts.
Was that a fresh Lancero?
Very.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But-
it was definitely not.
Yeah, but very well.
It was out of
very,
the shop.
very good experience.
Well, gentlemen, what a night.
So 8.3.
8.2 for the Widow Jane 10-year,
8.3.
and an 8.3
There you go.
for the My Father number 4 Lancero.
Look, for the listener, it's a great pairing.
And you have been reborn.
I'm reborn.
This is really amazing.
We love this new Bam. We love you.
Out of the ashes rises a phoenix.
I
of
love
fire.
you all. Look, you lizards have changed me. You have.
As
Well,
Grinder said,
time
this
will
is gonna
tell.
this is gonna start this is gonna start feeling really good. We're all gonna be positive. We're gonna all leave this episode. The listeners are gonna leave this episode positive, proud of you.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
And by the way, you
Wait
have
a minute. He hasn't done anything yet.
We're gonna
I-
keep the faith.
I stocked
we
my
go?
tower.
We're
He's
gonna
on a
keep
he's
the
on a
faith.
performance
What are
improvement
we
plan.
doing?
We'll check in with you
Am I
next
under
quarter.
review? I'm under review.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, we
This
didn't
is-
mention as we're ending the episode, is that Bam Bam said he was going to do this by Valentine's Day.
Wow.
He's a month early.
The thing is,
I
this
am.
is, you have to understand that this is a process. We're not just talking about transformation because you got a fucking humidor. You
Yes.
got to like
Yes.
come to the. You got to put forth and say, you
I
know,
will.
You got to shed your skin like a lizard.
You know, I'm gonna shed a tear. I
Bam Bam, we love you genuinely.
will. Oh God.
All right. Excellent night, boys. We'll see y'all next week.
Keep smoking.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us. You can find our merch store and ratings archive at our brand new website, loungelizardspod.com. That's loungelizardspod.com. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, hello@loungelizardspod.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.